A defiant neighbor sticks by her animals.
The pit bull was the precipitating factor.
According to her.
No, according to me.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt?
No, you can't.
This is Judge Judy. Estela Hernandez is suing her former neighbor, Myra Solis, for vet bills and punitive damages after Myra's dogs attacked her pony.
Judge, this is case number 11 on the calendar in the matter of Hernandez versus Solis. Parties have been sworn in. Siéntese, por favor.
Thank you. Ms. Hernandez, you have a horse, and you and the defendant are neighbors.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
It is your claim that some time ago, it was actually back in December of 2018, for the second time, dogs that belonged to the defendant injured your horse.
Yes. The first injury was in October, actually, of 2018.
And when that injury happened, according to you, the horse's legs were bitten.
Yes, we have one horse.
Is that right?
Yes.
We're not involved with that instance in this court case. What you're really talking about is the incident that happened in December. But I want to know whether or not you, as a neighbor, knew what the defendant's dogs looked like.
I didn't know.
You did not?
No.
So,
that I saw, no. That my husband saw and my neighbor saw, yes.
well, I don't know about your neighbor, but your husband is there.
Yes.
So now I'm going to ask your husband. His last name is?
Hernandez.
Mr. Hernandez, would you step up, please? Mr. Hernandez, can you tell me what you observed in December of 2018?
I heard some noise 4 o'clock in the morning. When I go outside, I see my pony in the driveway, and I see my pony bleeding a lot. And I go to check, and I see like 40 feet in the front, the same dogs, the pit bull and German Shepherd, waiting for him.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt?
No,
Your Honor,
you can't.
the
When I come
statement-
to you, listen to me. When I come to you and ask you a question, you can answer me. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, but in his
Good,
statement, he's
perfect.
claiming a husky.
Good. No, he didn't say a husky.
He said
I want you to just pay careful attention to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
When I come to you, you can talk.
Okay, Your Honor.
Right now, I'm not addressing you. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Now, you saw a pit bull and a German Shepherd.
Yes.
Had you ever seen the...
Over like 15, 16 is the first attack to my pony.
After the October incident, when your pony was hurt, did you speak to the defendant?
Your Honor.
Next day.
Speak to her.
Next day.
The next day, you spoke to Miss Solis,
No.
or your wife did the next day. Who? What part of don't speak don't you understand?
Sorry, Your Honor.
Who spoke to Miss Solis, you or your wife, the next day?
The next-
back in October.
My friend called me. The dogs go to your property again. When I go outside, I see the dogs for first time.
Was that a pit bull and a German Shepherd?
Yeah.
Those were the two dogs. That was back in October.
Yeah, and October 15. And I see it October 16 is the first time when I see it in my property.
Okay. And what kind of dogs did you see?
Pit bull, like gray, and German Shepherd.
Okay. And are those the same two dogs that you saw in December
Yeah,
after your horse was again injured?
Yeah, the same dogs.
And your pony was both times, both in October and December, on your property?
Yes, inside my property.
Okay. Sit down, Mr. Hernandez. Thank you very much. Ms. Hernandez.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know her, but we moved into this property July of 2013.
And how long has the pony been with you?
We bought her, I believe, that end of that same year. So could be like November, December.
2013.
2013, yes. Because this
2013.
horse was bought for my daughter. So that's when she was born.
Up until the October incident, had you had any trouble with any other animals and your pony?
No.
There have been no other incidents. Okay.
No.
Now look at me. Now I'm going to talk to you. Do you understand, Miss Solis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you live in a house?
Yes.
Who do you live in the house with?
I live with my mom, my dad, my son, my daughter, and my little sister.
And how long have your mom and dad lived in that house?
Since 2010.
When did you move in with them?
So basically we moved in. I mean, I've been with them. I just recently separated from them this year.
So you've lived with them?
Yes.
And when did you get the German Shepherd?
We got the German Shepherd when my little sister was about...
Dave, look at me. Look at me.
I'm looking.
Very good. Just look
Okay.
at me.
Okay, I'm looking.
In what year did you get the German Shepherd? Look at me.
Sorry, I'm trying to think. I was about 8 years old. I'm 24 now.
What year did you get the pit bull?
It had only been a couple months when the incidents happened. So August.
Okay, so you got the pit bull
August 2018.
in 2018.
Yes.
So the pit bull was the precipitating factor.
Yes. Correct, according to her. Pitbull was kind, Pitbull was loving.
No. According to me.
According to you,
me.
Your Honor?
You've
Can I ask you that?
according to me. Well, ordinarily
Why
I
a
wouldn't
pit
let you,
bull?
but I'm trying to educate you.
Educate
I'm
me
trying to educate
on
you.
a pit bull?
Yes, I'm trying to educate you, so I want you to be quiet.
Okay, Your Honor.
If you want to be educated, then you'll be quiet. The reason I'm saying the pit bull was the target date because the plaintiffs have lived in their home since 2013.
Mm-hmm.
You have lived in your home with your family since 2010.
Mm-hmm.
They have had no problem with anything attacking their pony 2013, 14, 15, 16, and 17 until well into 2018. You had your German Shepherd since, according to you, you were 8 years old.
Yes.
Do you understand so
Yes.
far? Do you understand where I'm teaching you logic?
Yes.
In 30 seconds, I'm teaching you a 6-month course in logic.
Okay, Your Honor.
The only time that they had trouble with their pony, October, on their property, and once in December, in an incident involving a pit bull, which is when you got your pit bull in 2018. Nothing happened with your German Shepherd in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, or 18. The only date consistent with this injury is with the pit bull in 2018. Did I just teach you logic?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Can I see the vet bill, please?
I also have a report from the vet. She wrote out a statement.
I'd
know
like
if-
to see it.
Okay.
We both put it
I would like to see it. Just a second. Who wrote this?
This is
Yes.
Dr. Sally. This is the doctor that actually
Okay.
came out and did the surgery.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So I'd like to add, Your Honor, that she actually treated the horse, but at the time that she was treating the horse, we also showed her what other injuries the dog had had that consist with an attack, and she agreed, and that's why she wrote out the statement.
No. Got it. Would you show me the bills from the vet?
So I believe this is the first one. Let me know when I can go ahead and put the second one.
Yes, and show me the second one, please.
Second one.
Your Honor, can I ask to see the
Got it.
second vet bill?
Can I go ahead and finish
Yes.
putting these up, Your Honor? There's more than
Yeah,
two.
it doesn't make any. I just want to see proof of
Okay.
that the horse was taken to the vet. Now, after the October incident, did you speak to Miss Solis?
After the October incident, I sent her a text message letting her know that if we can have a discussion regarding these vet bills, and I never got an answer from her.
Do your
Can I
parents
interrupt?
own or lease the house? Do your parents own or lease the house?
Lease.
Do they have insurance on the leased house?
Yes,
Do they have homeowners insurance?
they do. They have homeowners insurance.
Did they notify the homeowners insurance that you had a pit bull in your house?
We actually were just fostering, and my parents, they have nothing to do with that. We were fostering the
What do you
pit
mean they have
bull.
nothing to do with that?
We were fostering the pit bull. We were just doing our research as to what we needed to be able to, go ahead and keep our pit bull here at the house. We didn't even get a chance to do anything of that. We had no chance.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So what did you do with the pit bull?
I had to give her up.
You didn't give her up in October or November
They
or
came
December.
Your Honor, I was informed by Animal Control.
Listen to me. I'm not speaking to you.
And-
$50 from her as a deposit. Did you rent the studio?
Not to her.
Have you rented the studio?
It is rented right now.
Let's not play with me.
Estela Hernandez says dogs owned by her former neighbor, Myra Solis, attacked and injured her pony.
Okay. Can you tell me why you never responded to the plaintiff's initial text in October?
I did respond, and we did speak on the phone. we had a conversation on the phone, and I said, hey, you know what? They had mentioned a video of evidence that my 2 dogs were attacking her pony. Even the animal control, they said that they had a video, and I said, please go ahead and show me the video. I would love to see the video. And, you know, I would have went ahead if I saw that those were my dogs. I would have had no problem paying her the original $270 that she said that I owed. But they never showed me the video. They failed to show me the video. And so then I said, okay, well then.
She wanted me to wait,
so
Your
what
Honor.
did you do with, so what did you do with the pit bull?
I had to give her away.
After October?
I had to give her away. I had to give her up. They were asking
When?
me.
Just a sec. On what date? You didn't give her up in October or November
They
or
came
December.
and
Listen to me. I'm not speaking to you.
Okay.
You didn't get rid of the pit bull
I did, Your
in
Honor.
October, November. On what date? Can you prove to me that you got rid of the pit bull?
They came. They gave us a warning, the first attack in
What
August.
date?
Your Honor, I have to look
What
that up.
date?
I am not sure.
Just tell me what date they came and took the pit bull.
It was after the second incident, after December, so it was not in December.
Okay, very good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. You want to keep a dangerous dog? That's your problem.
Your Honor,
It causes
this pony's going to need treatment. It's going to need therapy.
We're finished. We're done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
She gets to go and go look at their pony in their backyard, but I lost 2 dogs.
I think it was fair. I think if you're going to be a pet owner, you should be a responsible pet owner.
It's a traumatic event.
Just tragedy all the way around.
All parties in the matter of LaBraine Jackson versus Oswald. Approach the podium, please.
Brenda LaBraine Jackson is suing her former landlord-to-be, Jerome Oswald, for the return of a deposit on an apartment she never moved into.
Miss LaBraine Jackson, you want your deposit back on an apartment that you rented from the defendant.
Yes.
It is your claim that the apartment was. Question is, prior to March of this year, where were you living?
I was living with my parents.
And you had been living at home with your parents for a long time.
Yes. Maybe
So
5
this
years.
was a move-out experience because you were working in January for whom?
In January, I was working at a medical spa, and I work at Burke Williams. I'm a massage therapist.
So you had 2 jobs.
Yes.
And you had those 2 jobs when you first saw the apartment in March.
Absolutely. Yes. I
Correct?
did. Yes. Correct.
And at that time, you gave the defendant $1,450 to hold the apartment for you.
Yes.
So he stopped showing it to anyone else.
Yes. Correct.
In March, both of those jobs went away because of COVID. Is that correct?
Yes. Correct.
So by the time you were supposed to move in April, you had no source of income.
Absolutely right.
Okay. So let's not blame the defendant for why you changed your mind about moving into the apartment. You changed your mind about moving into the apartment because you couldn't pay rent, because you weren't working because of the pandemic.
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You had a contract with him. Just because you didn't have a written contract doesn't mean you didn't have a contract. He, in consideration of that, he took it off the market. That, madam, is a contract.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Brenda LaBraine Jackson says Jerome Oswald won't return a deposit for an apartment she never moved into. Jerome is countersuing for the cost of the renovations she requested.
Now, I'd like you to tell me about what the apartment looked like when you first saw it in March.
When I first saw the apartment in March, the apartment was not move-in ready.
What was wrong with it?
There was no cooktop. There was no shower. The shower, he had just started to fix it and actually build a shower. There
You
was
mean redo the shower?
yeah, yeah.
How large an apartment was it?
It's a studio back house.
Was it a one-bedroom or studio?
Yeah, studio.
Had you rented this studio before, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And you asked the defendant to make certain changes as long as he was doing renovations in the apartment. What changes did you want?
He had a TV in his studio back house, and my son and I, we really don't watch TV, and we didn't want to be held accountable for anything that could have, may have happened with the TV. So I kind of asked him to just remove it, just things.
Did you ask him to build any additional closet space or anything else?
No, I did not.
Nothing else? just remove the TV.
Yes.
What else did the plaintiff, according to you, ask you to do in the
She asked me to
apartment?
remove all the upper cabinets in the kitchenette and also remove the TV, which was actually mounted to the wall. So, I had to repair the walls.
Okay.
And also install a medicine cabinet in the bathroom and install a organizer in the closet.
Okay. Any of that sound familiar?
Most of it does. The only thing that's not true is the fact that I was the one that provided the closet organizer, and I told him that I wouldn't mind installing it if it was okay with him, to be able to do that in his unit.
So this is the problem that you have. The problem that you have is that you decided not to move into this studio with your son because you lost your job.
Yes.
That was the reason.
Absolutely.
And that's not Mr. Oswald's problem. It's unfortunate, but if he was holding that apartment for you, that was your arrangement.
Yes.
He stopped showing the apartment so that because you were going to be the tenant. So you don't get your deposit back if you decided not to move in because you lost your job. I think with your parents, with your son. But you gave him the $1,450 to hold the apartment so that he would take it off the market and not show it to anyone else.
I agree with that, Your Honor.
That's the reason. Okay, that's the reason.
The only thing with that, though, is he never gave me possession of the place. I never received keys for the place.
You don't have to receive keys for the place, madam. The reason that you decided not to move into the apartment is because you lost your job, period.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Mr. Oswald,
Yes.
let's be serious about this. Money owed for special renovations, $1,500. You got $1,450 from her as a deposit. Did you rent the studio?
Not to her.
Have you rented the studio?
It is rented right now.
Let's not play with me.
Pardon
It's
me?
rented. And when did you rent it?
The beginning of July.
Good. So you were out a few months, but there's a pandemic in this
Yes,
world,
exactly.
and everything is sort of upside down. So you were without rent for a little bit, and you're back home with your parents. Is that right?
I actually moved to Louisiana
Why?
because it's more economically viable for me at the moment. Actually, it is.
Did you move in with somebody
No.
in Louisiana?
No, it's just me and my son.
And your parents live where? In California?
Yes, they live in California.
Listen, I don't have time to go into that decision-making process of yours. I assume you're not living for free in Louisiana.
I have relatives in Louisiana as well.
Are you living with relatives in Louisiana?
At the moment, I am, but I do have an apartment that I'm going to be renting in
Great.
September.
Okay. Both the claim and the counterclaim are dismissed. Thank you very much. We're finished here.
I do want to say, though, he never signed the contract. Does that not matter?
We're done. No, you had, just so that I answer you, and I don't have to answer you, you had a contract with him. Just because you didn't have a written contract doesn't mean you didn't have a contract. There was an offer, an acceptance, and consideration. He offered his apartment. You accepted his apartment. You gave him $1,450 to hold that apartment. In consideration of that, he took it off the market. That, madam, is a contract.
But
I've just given you contracts. 101 in law school. We're finished. Goodbye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
How were you contributing to the household?
Mostly I cleaned.
Other than being an old man who was living with his mother.
Judge Judy.
I'm pleased to hear that I don't have to give a deposit back.
I think that it was fair.
She wasn't willing to work at all with me.
I thought there were certain things, certain laws in place, contracts and stuff like that.
Probably be a little tougher, I guess.
No more money up front.
Their so-called friend talked a good game.
She wanted to buy a bar and she wanted to go in business with us.
Then this scam went into overdrive.
She has stated that she had bought her ex-boyfriend a Tesla. She asked us if we wanted the vehicle for $500.
A new Tesla.
We were fools for believing her.
No, you were more than fools.
This is Judge Judy.
Jasmine and Jose Acosta are suing their former friend, Ramona Segura, for a loan, Disneyland tickets, a garage fee, and fraud.
Order. All rise. It's case number 448 on the calendar in the matter of Costa versus Segura.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. and Mrs. Acosta,
Her at the bar my husband works at. She's a regular there. We have mutual friends.
and it is your claim that the defendant scammed you 3 times.
Correct.
Tell me when the first time was and how you think that she took your money under false pretenses.
Okay, so it started that she was at the bar. She talked to my husband, asked him if we have any children. She stated that she works at Disneyland, that she could get us discount tickets as well as...
Is that where you work?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead.
So she stated she worked there, that she could also get us tickets at a discounted rate as well as a hotel. We did mention to her that it was my daughter's birthday coming up in January, so we wanted to take her.
Slower.
Sorry. So we wanted to take her, so we thought about it for a little bit.
When was this?
This was in November
of
2019. So we talked about it, we discussed it. She, gained our trust. Again, we have mutual friends. It's not someone we just...
Don't go, just give me the facts, ma'am.
So the facts, she told us it was the $300. Up front, we had to pay her $300 for her to reserve the hotel room. So that's when we went ahead and gave her $300 cash. So following the $300, it was a remaining balance of $200 the day of. And that was in December, the beginning of December. Exact date for you. I'm sorry.
Just a minute. So eventually you gave her, for this, $500.
Yes. No, so it was $300, but that never happened. We were never taken to Disneyland. It was canceled. We did not go to Disneyland.
Well, who canceled it?
We did, because initially, the first date that she was giving us to go, she had an excuse where we didn't go. So for the first day she gave us, it was an excuse that the park was busy. She started talking about this coronavirus that's going on. So
you're missing me, and you're talking too fast. So you gave her the $300.
Correct.
And you made a date with her to go.
Correct.
She was going to be there because she works there.
Correct.
She canceled that date, or you canceled that date?
The initial date.
The first date?
Yes.
Who canceled it?
She did.
And what date was that?
So she gave us a reservation for it to be the 8th and the 9th of January for us to go to Disneyland.
All right, so she gave you the dates. These are the dates you can go.
Correct.
And you gave her $300.
We gave her $300, yes.
And you were about to go. On what date did she tell you that it was canceled?
So she took the initiative because my husband...
No, look at me and talk slower.
I'm sorry. So she had took the initiative to cancel it because my husband got sick.
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
So you canceled it?
No.
Well, if your husband got sick, then he couldn't go.
Yeah, but she took the initiative to cancel. She said I had already canceled. So she was rescheduling for us to go again.
You may be right.
Yes.
But don't avoid answering truthfully. Stop playing with your paper. He was sick so that you couldn't go on the 8th and 9th of January. Were you sick?
Yeah.
What was wrong with you?
I had the flu. But I want to go because I want to take my kids.
We were
and then
still
she
going.
canceled
Just a second. What? You had the flu and you were going to go?
So it's my daughter's
Well,
birthday.
that's pretty selfish of you.
No,
and stupid.
It's my daughter's birthday. I want to take my
And
daughter.
that was pretty selfish and stupid. If you have the flu, to go to Disneyland with a whole bunch of other people, to give a whole bunch of other people the flu. You canceled the 8th and 9th. Did you reschedule?
We had rescheduled, but she never gave us a date. She was going to check the availability.
And what happened?
That's when, after Disneyland, she tells us that she was coming into a settlement for 20...
Did you cancel the 8th on the 8th or the 7th?
No, ma'am.
When did you cancel it?
We didn't cancel. She canceled.
No, you canceled. You may say she canceled. Your husband had the flu. He couldn't go to Disneyland. On what date did you let her know that you had the flu? Sir, on
She
what
came to the house that day when I was sick.
What day?
I don't remember exactly the date, but that was like 2 days before we were supposed to go to Disneyland. And then we were supposed to reschedule the date to go again. And that's when she came with that she got a settlement for $25 million. And that's when she told me I needed more money to pay my rent, if I know anybody.
Now tell me about the next.
I am a friendship with her. We've gone out to eat multiple times. She had mentioned that she was going to get kicked out of her apartment, that she did not have funds due to her getting a settlement, that she was wrongfully diagnosed by a doctor, causing her to get multiple treatments, and they were rewarding her with $25 million. She said due to the IRS auditing her, her assets were frozen, so she had no money. Us as parents, we did feel bad for her because we even met her son, and she did not have $1,500 to pay for her rent.
Well, she's working at Disney.
Apparently, she had said that all her assets were frozen, so she wouldn't have access to her money. So since she was getting direct deposit, she did not have access to get any money from the bank. So that's when she inquired that if we know anybody who could lend her $1,500 and she would reimburse them double that, doubling the $1,500. We went to bed. Again, I felt bad. I am a mother of 3. And we spoke and said, let's lend her the money.
On what date did you do that?
We lent her the money in November as well, the end of November. She was paying her rent for December of $1,500.
Let's leave the hotel room aside for the moment.
Okay.
Did the plaintiffs give you $1,500?
They did.
For what?
To help me with my rent. It was never a conversation with Jasmine. It was always conversations with Jose. And he said that he's been in tough situations, that he had spoke to his wife, that he would help me out.
Good. Did you pay him back?
No.
You owe him $1,500 so far. You still work at Disney?
I do.
You bank?
Disney, can I say my side of the story? I suggested when he became sick with the flu not to go to Disneyland because he would not enjoy himself, because he would be grouchy. And so I offered him another date to go, which was in a text message, January 29th through the 31st. So I offered them another date to go, and they accepted that date. And then they turned around and canceled thereafter that she wasn't getting her unemployment check, her disability check, and she was not going to be able to go. These were non-refundable tickets.
Can I see that text, please? Notice how I sort of glossed over this $300 for Disney, because if you cancel a day before, usually, if you put down a deposit, they take your full deposit.
Right, but he was sick, and
Would you show this to them? So she offered you an alternative date.
Yes. And due to me not getting my check from EDD, I never agreed. If you see, there's never a text me saying, yes, we'll take that date.
I don't care. You canceled the first time. She managed to get you a second time. Let's go. Let's move on. So far, she owes you $1,500 for her rent. What's next?
After that, when she had said that she came into a settlement, she had mentioned to us that she had an abusive boyfriend that became her ex-boyfriend. She had mentioned that she bought him a Tesla. And during the time to buy a bar, she wanted to buy a bar and she wanted to go in business with us. And moving forward, prior to the bar, she had told us that she had came into the $25 million settlement.
You already said that 5 times.
I'm sorry. It's just a whole lot that happened. There's so much in between.
So far, she owes you $1,500.
$1,500, correct. After Disneyland, when she had told us about $25 million, we had asked her to. My husband had asked her let us borrow $20,000 for a home. We were in the middle of trying to purchase a home. She said, "No. Why don't I just buy it for you guys? Buy it, and you guys pay me, since she's getting that settlement."
So now your husband is asking her for $20,000.
Yes, this is when we still thought Disneyland was real. Yeah.
So now your husband is asking her, who he's just lent $1,500 to, for $20,000 from her settlement, because now you see, for a house.
For a home, correct.
And she said?
She said, that's when she had stated, that she'll purchase it and we would pay her back. That she could purchase it cash and we would pay her back. We got in contact with our realtor, and that's when we went house shopping. We went looking at homes for us. We went looking at homes for her. We were everywhere you could think of looking for homes. We actually opened escrow on a home. I have the purchase agreement here as well as a cancellation.
Keep going.
We went into escrow with the home. That's when we started asking her for all her bank statements. You need W-2, all the proof that you need to show left and right, that her attorney...
Did you give her any money for this home?
No, ma'am.
So what do I have to know about it for?
Following that, so it's because it's one of the incidents with her, that's where we were back and forth with her with the whole home. I have proof of that as far as...
Just a second. You didn't give her any money?
No, I didn't give her any money for that.
So let's move on.
Okay, so then that's where it comes to the car. Where you see the $500 garage fee, she has stated that she had bought her ex-boyfriend a Tesla. She asked us, since we were going to be business partners, if we wanted the vehicle for $500.
A new Tesla?
A new Tesla, that she had already gave a down payment, and that all we had to pay was a $500 garage fee. Yes. I know. Oh, she sent us photos. She sent us invoices. She sent us everything that made it seem real. We went to the Tesla dealer. We test drive the car. I mean, we went with our whole family. We're a family of 5 with the 3 little ones.
What kind of ridiculousness do you think that you can buy a $100,000 car for $500?
So she sent us an invoice that said the vehicle was going to be $64,000, that she had already gave a down payment, but since her ex-boyfriend was abusive and cheated on her with her cousin.
I don't care.
She didn't want to give it to him, so that's why she wasn't giving it to him. Now she was willing to give it to us for a $500 garage fee since her assets were frozen.
Who was supposed to pay out the $64,000?
She had already given a down payment on the car.
How much?
She had said she had given $3,500.
Who was supposed to pay the rest?
She was.
So
Yeah.
far, she owes you $1,500.
I have.
That's all. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I can't even take you seriously.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
We were fools for believing her.
Well, then, no, you were more than fools.
But we...
No, you were more than fools.
She came around our kids.
You were more than fools. You thought you were getting something for nothing.
And later today,
If the bills were in storage that you say she took and destroyed or she got rid of, then all you have to do is call up the company and say, I lost all my bills. Can you send me a copy? Where did you think you were coming today? To the beach?
Jasmine and Jose Acosta claim former friend Ramona Segura defrauded them on several accounts.
Now, so far, show me proof that you gave her $1,500.
Here you go.
Okay.
Ma'am, can I show you what I have for the Tesla? She did send us information for it.
No. I'm going to tell you why. Because you have to know that either you think when you're going to get a $60,000 car for $500, it's like going up to somebody and say, you want to buy my Rolex? I need money right now. I have to go buy a bowl of soup and a bagel. So I'm going to sell you my Rolex, which is a $25,000 watch, for $50. And then you say, oh, yeah. That Rolex, probably stolen. But if I could buy it for $50, why not? You think that the courts are going to help you?
I understand that we were fools for believing her.
Well, then, no, you were more than fools.
But we...
No, you were more than fools.
She came around our kids.
You were more than fools. You thought you were getting something for nothing. See, the rent is a whole different thing. She said she needed rent. Bank accounts were frozen, whatever it is. She may have felt that she had a couple of suckers. But you knew that you were giving her money, and that money was going... in your head was going to her rent. You said, I'm a mother of 3. I realized that. She has a son. But with regard to the car, you thought you were getting something for nothing because somebody was going to get scammed. You weren't signing your name as owners of the car, responsible for the loan.
She said that she was putting it under our name.
Let's say I believe you that she said, I put down $3,500. Well, that's still $61,000. Who was supposed to pay the $61,000? Plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. We're done. Thank you very much.
Parties are excused. They step out.
The accusations were false against me.
She's a liar. She knows what she's doing. She's a con artist.
I didn't owe him anything.
Now I can't trust people.
Jealous wife. She couldn't handle the fact that her husband and I became really good friends.
We're not friends. Absolutely not friends.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Patterson versus Williams. Step forward.
Donna Patterson is suing her former tenant, Glenda Williams, for rent, a car, the cost of a storage unit, and emotional distress.
All right, so let me understand this, Miss Patterson. You owned a house.
Yes.
Was there one house on the property or two?
There was a mobile home and then a tiny house.
And were you living in the house?
No, I didn't live there.
You didn't live there. You rented to people.
Yes.
At some point, the property went into foreclosure.
Yes.
Had you owned the property for a long time?
A year.
Did you inherit the property or did you buy it?
I acquired it.
From whom?
A former friend and neighbor who no longer had any funds, so she said if I take it over.
How much did you pay for it?
I didn't. She quitclaimed it to me.
Just a sec. So you didn't pay for this property that had a house and a trailer on it?
Correct.
However, that property had taxes on it that you didn't pay.
Correct.
So you have taxes on it, and you rented, let me get this clear, because now it's becoming clear to me, you rented the house and or the trailer, one of them, to the defendant.
She actually rented a room in the house.
How many people did you have renting in the house?
5.
So now let's understand this. So you got this property for nothing, you didn't pay the taxes on it, and you were renting to 5 people who lived in the house. They paid you rent.
Yes.
At some point, all the electricity was cut off in the house and the trailer. So the whole place was being run by generator, but you lived someplace else.
Correct.
Now, where you lived, did you have lights?
Yes.
Air conditioning?
No.
Heat?
No.
Do you live in a cabin?
No.
What kind of place do you live in?
I lived in a home, a regular house, but the air conditioning and heating had broke, so I didn't have it for 3 years.
Oh, sounds like a whole lot of problems to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You want to come back here when you have all the paperwork? I'll be more than happy to let you go outside. Now you have the name of the company, call them up, fax it here, and you can come back tomorrow. You want to do that? Yes or no?
No.
Of course not. Okay.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Donna is a squatter. Glenda's countersuing for the cost of a generator.
Okay. In any event, what you say is that she became a squatter and didn't pay you rent.
Correct.
In a house that had been foreclosed that you weren't paying on.
I didn't know it was foreclosed in the beginning.
Who cares? I don't care. You weren't paying a penny.
I was paying another company to keep it out of foreclosure so their rent could go towards getting it out of foreclosure.
Let me see what you were paying another company to keep it out of foreclosure.
I only have the name of the company.
I don't care.
Because it was in storage that she stole.
Name of the company doesn't help me. So far, we're in a totally unsympathetic position. It's not as if you rented to the defendant in a house that you were maintaining, that you paid for, and that you were paying the taxes on, and she was living there squatting on this property and didn't pay you rent from August until May, even though it was run on a generator.
But that's not correct. I'm sorry, it's not correct.
She
had all the other utilities.
You said to me, somebody gave you the house last year. Didn't you tell that to me? Or was it 2 years ago that they gave you the house?
I'm sorry, it was 2 years ago. If I said one, I'm sorry.
Well, you're an adult woman. You live in a house. Then you know on a house, on property, there are taxes that have to be paid. So it's not 1 year you didn't pay the taxes. You didn't pay the taxes for 2 years. Squatter on that property, too.
No, Your Honor. I still paid all the other bills. I paid $750 every month to keep it out of foreclosure for 2 years.
Just a second. Show me.
My receipt was in storage, which is another part of the case.
Just a second. It's not another part of the case, madam. Let me tell you this. There is zero sympathy, because if you were paying $750 a month to keep the house out of foreclosure, A, you weren't successful, and B, if the bills were in storage that you say she took and destroyed or she got rid of, then all you have to do is call up the company and say, I lost all my bills. Can you send me a copy? Where did you think you were coming today? To the beach?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. If you paid $750 a month to a company and you didn't have the bills, that company will give you the $750 receipts as copies. If it's only over 2 years, we're not talking about 10 years ago.
But I just barely found the paperwork that shows the name of the company.
Oh, fine. Then you want to come back here when you have all the paperwork? I'll be more than happy to let you go outside. Now you have the name of the company, call them up, fax it here, and you can come back tomorrow. You want to do that? Yes. Now, you have equally as ridiculous a lawsuit. You know, you say that she used your generator to fire up the house and to keep the basic necessities going, and because it was used so often, your generator, that it blew. That's your counterclaim?
Yes.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
No, it's not.
We're done.
Your Honor, there's a whole lot more to this.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
You moved in with your grandfather.
A young woman runs into trouble.
He punched you?
He did, and that's when the chokehold happened. He's on parole for first-degree murder.
Next Judge Judy.
For 2 years, she didn't pay.
I'm glad it is all over with.
I paid for the generator to be fixed.
She illegally hooked up the electricity.
I paid $300 to fix it.
Did a trench underground. I'm just so glad it's over.
Never again.
I am glad this matter is over with, and I'd like to thank Judge Judy for having me on her show.
The band he hired rocked.
Did Mr. Phillips pay you?
He wrote 2 checks to us.
Then he rolled.
Both checks bounced? They were bounced.
Time to face the music.
I was doing this for charity.
He's not doing it for charity. You knew that there were insufficient funds. Do you know that's a felony?
This is Judge Judy. Musician Daniel Hernandez is suing event promoter Lawrence Phillips for money owed for a performance and bank fees.
Judge, this is case number 23 on the calendar in the matter of Hernandez versus Phillips. Parties have been sworn in. You may have a seat.
Mr. Hernandez, it is your claim that the defendant owes you the balance of a contractual obligation that you had with him for you to perform with a band at a venue where he was hosting an event.
That's correct.
According to you, you did the work. Mr. Phillips gave you 2 checks. Both checks bounced. He did pay you some money. He still, according to you, owes you several $1,000s. And you've tacked on the bank fees for the return checks,
Correct.
which was about $30.
Yeah.
So far,
Yes.
is that in a nutshell what it is?
Yes.
You indicate in your complaint, Mr. Hernandez, that you have a day job, which is not playing with a band. What is your day job?
I work for a HVAC company.
And how long have you been doing that?
18 years or so.
And how long have you had this little side hobby of the band? And did you form this band?
It was a conglomeration of 2 bands that we were all friends, and we just played one time together as a favor at an event in Riverside, and we just thought, this is pretty amazing. Let's keep doing this, and we've been together ever since.
How did you meet the defendant?
Through a mutual friend.
Can you tell me what month and year that was?
A couple years ago, not the month exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
In this gig that you got involved with, can you tell me when you were supposed to perform with your band and what the financial arrangement with the defendant was?
The actual performance was September 28th of last year, and we were to provide the band and also to contract for the staging and the lighting and the sound.
Staging, lighting, and sound?
Yes.
Well, let's deal with that part of the claim first, because that's also in this claim.
Sure.
You did contract with the staging, lighting, and sound. How much was that?
In my part, the staging, lighting, and sound was apparently $4,000 altogether. However, I took care of $2,000 for our sound guy because there was a check made out to him as well that had bounced that Mr. Phillips made out.
And that's your witness?
Correct. Oscar.
So he has proof of a bounce check from Mr. Phillips as well, and that was for these September.
Yeah, the same performance.
Okay. And what were you supposed to be paid?
$1,500.
So the band was supposed to be paid $1,500 for the evening.
Correct.
Did the band perform that evening?
We did.
Did Mr. Phillips pay you?
He wrote 2 checks to us.
And in what amount were those 2 checks?
In the amount of $750 each.
Did he give you those 2 checks before or after the performance?
He gave me 1 check before, about a day or so before the performance, and then another check the day of the performance.
Before the performance?
Correct.
Do you have proof of their being dishonored by your bank?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
And that it was dishonored?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Band deposit, balance $750, and it was returned. Where's the other check? Okay. Why were the checks returned, Mr. Phillips?
First of all, Your Honor, this event...
Not first of all. No, my words. Why were the checks returned?
They were returned because there was no money to cover them. Because I did this event as a charity event.
Just a second.
And I was waiting for sponsorship
Mr. Phillips,
to cover the checks. Yes,
Mr. Phillips. Mr. Phillips.
Yes,
You wrote checks on a bank when you knew that there were insufficient... Do you know
I've
that
never
that's
had
a felony
in my life, and I understand what you're saying.
What I'm telling you,
what I'm
telling you, Mr. Phillips, I don't care. It's not important to me.
Oh, okay.
What the event was for. You hired the plaintiff for a certain fee, which was $1,500.
Yes.
And you gave him 2 bad checks. You can't do that.
I'm aware of that, and I do apologize.
Good. That's
to him.
perfect. Great. So, Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Phillips did give you some money, correct?
Correct.
How much did he give you? Eventually.
Right. $950. $350 in one payment and $600 in another one.
So he owes you $550.
There is one other check that I had that was no good as well from him. There's a total of 3 bad checks.
Well, how much were you supposed to be paid? You showed me 2 checks.
Correct.
One said $750 deposit, and it said balance $750.
Correct.
That's the evidence that you produced. What is this other check for?
Okay, so the other check was another check that was paid to Oscar, and the check wasn't any good. So it was another check for $2,000. And because I deal with Oscar, I told him, okay, give the check to Phillips. And so he did, and this check was also no funds available. So I actually paid Oscar
So you covered him.
Mm-hmm.
Did Mr. Phillips agree to reimburse you for that?
Correct. He did.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. When did Mr. Phillips agree to reimburse you for that?
In conversations after the event.
Well, tell me about the conversations, then I'm going to ask Mr. Phillips.
In my conversations, they were basically promises to pay with different dates.
No, he owes you, clearly he owes you $550.
Right.
The only question is, does your friend, who is your witness, have to pursue Mr. Phillips on his own? Or did Mr. Phillips agree to you covering that check and he would pay you? And I want to hear about that.
It was a verbal conversation that we had.
Well, tell me when and where it took place.
Probably.
On the phone, in person?
Yes, on the phone. And we just made an agreement that he would pay everything that he owed me, including that.
He paid you $950. He only owes you $550. Mr. Phillips, did you write another bad check for the audio people?
Yes, I did. I presented a check. Once again, this is a charitable event, and I had sponsors that promised me to give me money, and I wrote that check with the intent that I was going to get the money that night.
Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you and Mr. Hernandez agree that he would make good this check for $2,000? I'm going to repeat that. That's a very simple question. Did you and Mr. Hernandez agree that Mr. Hernandez would make good on this bounce check to the stage guy for $2,000?
Can you not say the word
Did
bounced check again, please?
Well, say what bounced. There were the insufficient funds. That's a bounced check.
Okay, I understand.
Did you agree with Mr. Hernandez? Did you ask him to make good on that check and you would pay him?
He requested that of me, yes.
On the phone?
On the phone.
Did you agree to do that?
Because, yes, I was expecting sponsorship money to come in, and it didn't, and I agreed.
So then the answer is you did ask Mr. Hernandez to cover
He told me what he was going
to... The $2,000 check, and you said, then I will give it to you when I get my sponsor's money.
Those are my exact words. Yes, ma'am, I did say that.
Fine, very good. Then you owe him $25.50. Judgment for the plaintiff. Oh, excuse me. Do you have proof of your bank charges?
Yes.
I'd like to see them. Put them up.
You don't even want to see what I was going to show you about the stage?
No. It's on bad accounts.
Well, no, it was not a bad account. It was a good account. My sponsor just didn't give me the money. I was doing this for charity, for the Gay Pride, Whittier Gay Pride. I did it pro bono, trying to get sponsorship, Your Honor.
You can do it.
Actually
He's not doing it for charity.
I know he wasn't.
He's not doing it for charity. That's your charity. Okay, just a second. So how much did they charge you?
They actually charged me
$5. Oh.
Yeah, that on one, and then...
And? The other?
That one.
So they charged you $10 altogether?
Yes.
Is that correct?
It is correct.
$25.60. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you. By the way, nice meeting you.
This case is concluded.
And you.
Parties are excused.
Wrote the checks. They were bad.
I wrote those checks on, it's called a faith check.
Took them. Thought they were good. A couple days later,
And all of a sudden, it didn't happen, but...
Noticed that they bounced.
Oh, you can take faith to the bank, but you got to have a little bit more than faith. You got to have that money in the hand, baby.
And from then on, it was just...
He's an incredible performer, and...
Can you pay me? And it went on for almost a year now.
You know, it happened the way it happened. I'm sorry it did.
It was amazing performance. My band Remix, incredible.
Thank God it's over.
All parties in the matter of Anders versus Warfield. Step to the podium, please.
Friend Trevin Warfield for stealing his stimulus money from his bank account.
Mr. Anders,
Yes.
you and Mr. Warfield were friends?
Yes, before.
And at some point, according to your papers, you received a stimulus check from the government in the amount of $1,200.
Yes, on April 27th.
How were you advised that you got that check?
Through the IRS, on my Cash App.
Do you have that Cash App with you so that I can see it?
It's an app. I have it on right here.
I'd like to take a look at it. Just put it up on the evidence screen.
For sure.
Thank you. Is that the only proof that you had that you got this stimulus check?
Yes. I also have a direct deposit of $1,200.
Of what?
A direct deposit in the same Cash App as a Cash App?
I'd like to see it.
Okay, for sure.
Yes. In what bank was it deposited?
It's Cash App is an app on your phone. That's basically the bank that I was deposited from.
Is that the way you pay your taxes, sir?
I don't think so, no. I wouldn't use Cash App for my taxes.
Well, how did they know to find you to give you $1,200?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your Honor, we were friends for 8 years. I've never stolen a dime from him.
Mr. Warfield?
Yeah.
He's going to tell me what evidence. Money. I'm breathless, Mr. Anders.
Derek Anders Jr. says former friend Trevin Warfield appropriated stimulus money from his bank account.
Well, how did they know to find you to give you $1,200?
Yeah, I used my routing and account number and put it on the website.
So you went on the IRS website.
Yes.
Speak to me. Talk to me. I have to understand how this works.
Yeah, for sure. I went on the IRS website.
And
I put in my routing and account number, and then they sent the money over on Cash App, on my Cash App. And so, yeah.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm an entrepreneur.
What does that mean? I mean, I know what the word means. In what way are you an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur. I'm a singer, songwriter, model, mogul, dancer, performer. I go, different places to try to make a living for myself. So basically, it's just, it's like entrepreneurship, like going out and doing what you want to do for your life and not having to worry about, actually.
Well, tell me the things. Who do you live with?
Right now, I'm currently just living at home right now with my family.
Who is your family?
Different people. I have, different family members. So many different family members that I have, No,
I want to know who you're living with now.
Right now, I'm, where I'm living, with my mom, my brother. I have so many relatives.
That's not a hard question, sir.
Yeah, for sure. It's just a personal question.
Who are you living with? And you said family. It's not a personal question if you're living with family. I just ask you what family you're living with. It's not a hard question. I live with my mother. I live with my brother. I live with my sister. That's not a hard question, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just trying to find out who my players are. Okie dokie. And according to you, and this evidence that you brought into me, you say that Mr. Warfield somehow appropriated $1,100 of your $1,200 stimulus money that was put in the bank by the IRS. Because I assume you did that because you are currently undomiciled, so they can't send you a check. So you went on the website to say, just put it in this PayPal or what is it, Cash App, whatever. So tell me what makes you believe, what evidence you have, Mr. Anders, that Mr. Warfield, who was once your friend, took $1,100 of your stimulus check.
Yeah, we
from
were
your
close friends.
entrepreneurships.
Your Honor, we were friends for 8 years. I've never stolen a dime from him.
Yeah.
I've never stolen a dime from him.
That's untrue, Your Honor.
Mr. Warfield.
Yes.
He's going to tell me what evidence he has that you took his...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I received threatening text messages from him, and Mr. Anders was just calling me all types of names and things like that, and it was ridiculous. And it just got really insane. I had to block him and cut off all communications with him.
Well, what did he say to you when he called 2 months later?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Derek Anders Jr. says former friend Trevin Warfield appropriated stimulus money from his bank account.
So tell me what makes you believe, what evidence you have, Mr. Anders, that Mr. Warfield, who was once your friend, took $1,100 of your stimulus check.
Yeah, we
from
were
your
close friends.
entrepreneurships.
Your Honor, we were friends for 8 years. I've never stolen a dime from him.
Yeah.
I've never stolen a dime from him.
That's untrue, Your Honor.
Mr. Warfield.
Yes.
He's going to tell me what evidence he has that you took his stimulus money. I'm breathless, Mr. Anders.
Yeah, I have evidence right here. It says this is the name that he goes by online. I guess it's called Little Hoochie Daddy. And we've been knowing each other for so long. That's his username on, I guess, Instagram or even on Cash App that he took it. It says payment to Little Hoochie Daddy. So you know that he took the money. It says payment to himself. I used his phone. He got my login information and just basically used my account. So, I mean, when you think you're friends with somebody and they use your account and then they just, I guess he sent it to himself when I didn't know. I don't know. He logged in without my knowledge. That's the reason why I'm here. So my money was stolen.
I know the reason you're here, sir. I'm looking for proof that he took your money.
Right here it says payment to...
I see it. That's not proof he took it.
Well, through Cash App, you can send it to yourself, so I mean...
Mr. Warfield,
Yes,
did
Your
Mr.
Honor.
Anders confront you about taking his money?
Mr. Anders did confront me. He confronted me 2 months later after the fact. I received threatening text messages from him on July 4th. I just landed in Florida, and Mr. Anders was just calling me all types of names and things like that, and it was ridiculous. I was at the airport arguing with him, and it just got really insane. I had to block him and cut off all communications with him.
Well, what did he say to you when he called 2 months
He
later?
was like, Trevin, I seen your name on my Rev receipt. You stole my money. You're this, you're that. And I'm like, Derek, I have no reason to steal anything from you. We've been friends for 8 years. And for him to just accuse me of stealing his money is just completely ridiculous, Your Honor. I have no... I'm a nursing assistant.
You traveled from California to Florida?
No, I went to Florida for the 4th of July to go visit an old friend. I have a vacation house there, and so I went there to do some remodeling on it, some painting.
How long have you had the house there?
Since 2014.
Do you own that house in Florida?
No, I don't own it. Mm-mm.
Who does own it?
My friend owns it.
You said you were doing remodeling.
Yeah, I was helping him paint.
How long were you in Florida?
I was in Florida from July 4th through July 6th. Monday morning, I flew back to San Diego.
So you were just there for 1 day?
I was there for 2 days. I got there Saturday, July 4th, and flew back home July 6th.
And you helped him paint in that 1 day?
I helped him paint, yeah, 1 day, just 1 day. It was like a Sunday fun day project we did.
It's a long trip.
Well, it was worth it to see friends and things like that. So some things you just do for friends.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Mr. Anders, you have any other proof that Mr. Warfield took your money?
That's all besides his username.
I don't know whether he took your money or whether he didn't take your money. He says he didn't. I'm not satisfied with the proof that you...
I also have another,
some
more proof.
Well, then tell me. I'm ready to say goodbye to you.
The same proof that I showed you before is...
Don't show me the same proof you showed me before. Don't show me the same proof you showed me before. I saw your proof. You said you also have other proof.
Yeah, it was like it says, the 28th, the money was stolen. And on the 27th, the money was deposited.
We're done.
So, okay, yeah, obviously.
We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
You thought it would be fun to start a YouTube channel.
He wasn't paying me half for all of the things that I put into the channel.
This was her first priority. This YouTube channel was her first priority.
No.
Judge Judy.
Oh, well, I'm very, very satisfied. Judge Judy did not believe him, as you can tell.
I think it was upsetting to me due to, having hard times and not being able to, make ends meet.
He was a complete fool on national TV.
And, the money was put into my account, obviously, on Cash App. I don't know if she knows what Cash App is.
All he does is lie, and he's just ridiculous.
But anyways, that's how I feel. And even if it was money's nothing but paper ink, like my grandma used to tell me.
To be honest, I really think he...
At the same time, I do feel upset that the money's still not there.
Well, sometimes people get where they need money, and they will...
He lied. He said he didn't do it. Maybe he didn't do it. I don't know. There's another person that was on there that, that's all I have to say.
Accuse anybody of just doing something crazy like that.
Oh, no, we're not friends. We don't talk.
No, we're no longer friends. I don't need friends like that.
Somebody's usually responsible for an accident.
A disputed path to their crash.
I was trying to get into this lane here.
But she was already in that lane.
No, I wasn't even in that lane.
I'm actually liking this case.
Now their conflict is at a crossroads.
He's 100% at fault when he hit my car.
Well, they only sent her 50%. She wants the whole thing. What do you think?
This is Judge Judy. Meredith Less is suing fellow motorist William Frankie for an accident on the road.
Judge, this is case number 42 on the calendar in the matter of Les versus Frankie. Parties are sworn in.
Miss Les, you had a car accident with the defendant over a year ago.
Correct.
You claimed that the accident was his fault. You did nothing about it for a year. Now you say that we have COVID. You have a claim against him.
Correct.
That's where we're at. You were driving a 2009 Lincoln, and I assume you had liability insurance, but not collision.
Correct.
With whom were you insured?
Geico.
Do you still have the car?
Yes, I do.
And Mr. Frankie, what kind of a car were you driving on August 24th of 2019?
A Toyota Prius.
What year?
2012.
And did you have liability and or collision on the car?
Yes, I had full coverage.
Full?
Yeah.
With what company?
Kemper?
From my information, when you had this accident, did you exchange information with Miss Les? Did you give her your insurance card and your registration and your license?
Yeah. I don't remember about the license and registration, but I definitely gave her my insurance.
You had never met Mr. Frankie before, is that right?
That's correct.
So if you had an accident that you allege was his fault and you decided not to call the police to the accident, I assume you were satisfied that you had sufficient contact information for him.
Correct. We exchanged all information.
So you had his insurance card?
Correct.
When did you notify his insurance company?
I contacted my insurance that day, and they started the process. And then I got and go through their process.
And what happened?
I submitted all the photos and information through the app they told me to download, and then that was it. And then I think within a month I got information regarding what the estimate for repairs would be.
Okay, did you get a check from his insurance company?
In July of this year, but I haven't done anything with it because...
What was the check that you got from Kemper Insurance?
It was 50% of the estimated repair costs.
Would you please tell me what was the amount of the check?
The amount was $715.43.
And when you accepted the check, you signed a document that said that that was in full satisfaction of your claim.
No, I did not.
You had to, otherwise they're not going to send you a check.
Well, what happened was I took the car to a mechanic, and they called the insurance, and we're speaking with them, and they said they would send over a check. And then when I got the check, I called because it was for half the amount when they said they were going to pay 100% of the estimated repair cost.
Did you cash the check?
No. I have the check physically with me.
It?
Yes.
Great. Take it out. Great. Okay. Very good. So you have an estimate.
I do.
To fix your car.
Through Kemper,
I'd like to take a look at it because, Mr. Frankie, if your insurance company sent her a check, they found that you were at fault. Your insurance company found you were at fault. You understand that?
Correct, 50%, from my understanding.
Well, they only sent her 50%. Your understanding from what she says is she got 50%. Your insurance company found you were sufficiently at fault to send her a check.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to tell me about the accident in a second. Would you just put up on my evidence screen the estimate of having the car fixed?
Yes, I already did.
$1,430. Okay, great. Now would you show me the damage to the car?
I have two photos. Here's the first one. It's the right passenger side above the wheel fender area.
Mm-hmm. Now, you have a check. So the estimate is for $1,430.
Correct.
To fix it. You got a check for them for $715. Can you tell me why you're suing him for $1,430?
Well, I'm suing him for the full amount because he's 100% at fault when he hit my car.
Yeah, but you already have a check for half.
Okay, so when I spoke with my insurance adjuster, he said you either accept the check they sent, or I haven't done anything with the check. I'm not going to because I'm here today.
Okay, so you have that check.
Correct.
You have that check. Take it back and put it on your desk. Now, who was making a left turn? Were you both preparing to make a left turn?
No.
I was preparing to make a left turn.
Okay. And was Miss Les in front or behind you?
She came from behind me.
All right, Miss Les, you're driving down, you're driving in the same direction. You're in the left lane, he's in the left lane. He was looking to make a left turn?
So I was in the middle lane on the street. He was in the lane to my right. And he was somewhat behind me, like we weren't head to head on that. So when I kept going and then he decided to turn, he hit the front passenger side of my car. I was going straight.
You were going straight, and he says you were making a left turn?
I was getting into the turn lane to make a left turn.
But she was in the middle.
Yeah,
You were on her right.
I was on her right, correct.
I'm trying to visualize
I have
this.
some pictures.
She's in the middle lane, you're on the right lane.
Correct.
Oh, I'd like to see them.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, great. Oh, that's better.
I'm the blue car.
I'm not following. You're both going in which
So-
direction? Point to the direction that you're
we're
going. I
going-
see where her.
I
And
had just
she
come-
is the orange.
Correct. So I just come from this direction on a street, and I took a left turn onto La Brea here. So I took a left turn.
Okay.
And I intended to go
Right.
up here to take another left down here. And this,
Okay,
so
but
I wanted to get.
but she's in your space.
So yes, I think she was. I assumed she was also intending to take a left turn on to Romaine from La Brea here. That's what I assumed, because I was trying to get into this turn lane here, and there's.
Right, but she was already in that lane.
So I did not see her in this lane. I thought that you had to. I think she came from here into this turn lane, and I was going into this
You mean
turn
into the-
lane. I was going into this turn lane to get here.
I see that.
I hit her here because I'm assuming she was going to go straight through to take a left turn also.
She was going straight.
Correct.
No, she
But
said she
that's
was
what
going
said,
straight. You were
yeah.
not making a left turn.
No, I wasn't even in
Is that
that
right?
lane.
She was in this turn lane.
I
So
was in the middle
you
lane.
want to show me where you were?
Sure, I would love
You
to.
want to show me where you were?
And I wouldn't be making a turn because I know I was heading to Los Feliz, where I'd be making a right onto Sunset. There I am in the middle lane, going northbound.
And you're going straight.
Correct.
And he's all the way on your right.
Correct.
And he wanted to get over to make a left turn.
Correct.
I got it. Did you have any damage to your car, sir?
the damage was very minimal. I have a picture of
Okay.
my mirror, but it was very minimal. Do you want to see the picture?
Well, is the mirror what hit her car?
That's what I thought hit her car. I'm not sure. I think when I have pictures of her car and I see that her mirror, it looked like I hit her mirror and possibly her fender.
Okay.
But I was unsure if I hit the fender when I saw the damage.
Okay. Mr. Frankie, you know, it's an accident. It's not an on purpose. It's an accident. Somebody's usually responsible for an accident. Sometimes it's both people's fault, but usually it's one person's fault. That looks to me, what I saw, that this accident was your fault. You were in the right lane trying to get over to the left lane, and you hit her car. Didn't cause a lot of damage to yours. It's an accident, right? You had insurance. Your insurance company copped out. Her damage was $1,400. They paid her $7,000. She wants the whole thing. What do you think?
I know that I was intending to go into, I'd already went this direction, the opposite direction, past Romaine to go to right here on the chart. So Romaine is up here. Willoughby is down here. Parking, there's a parking structure for Target off of Romaine over here that I intended to go to. And you can only get there from going to Romaine. You can't get there from the other direction. So I went down, made a U-turn on Willoughby, came back.
I understand exactly what you're saying to me, sir, but you
Okay,
were in
can I
the
show
right
you-
lane going to the left lane,
Can I show you another picture then?
and you hit her. She
Yes.
didn't hit you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't think
Are you-
anybody's
it's
driving
what
in
you-
the parking area.
Sometimes you can in California because if there's no parking between certain times and certain times.
Oh, this is
there
true. You're right.
And later today,
What special thing about this pontoon boat motivated you to spend 3 times as much as you could have for cash?
Meredith Less says fellow motorist William Frankie merged into her lane and ran into her car.
Now, she didn't hit you. You hit her.
But there's a flaw in the other picture that she showed.
Okay, I'd like to see it.
So if you would, but I don't have her picture. But I do have this Google map right here, whichever
I'm
you'd like to
terrible
look
at those
at.
things.
This right here.
Well,
you
let
can
me see the Google map. They confuse me usually.
So right here, I can turn
Okay.
it so it's the same as the chart.
Okay, better.
Okay, so here's Romaine. We're going up here. This is the turn lane. You can see the arrow right there.
No, I understand that. Where was your car?
So do you see that?
Was your car in the right lane?
The parking spots right here, where you can park
Yes.
the car. So
Yes.
I was
Were there,
not.
is what you're
I
telling me
was-
there were parked cars there?
Yeah,
Were there cars parked
I
there?
parked there. I pulled off the road and parked there from.
For what?
From after I got hit here, I pulled right over here, and I have a picture showing where my car was parked right after that.
Well, you didn't get hit because your car hit her.
Yeah, so I parked right there. I was trying to
Right.
get into this turn lane, and
Well,
I don't think
are you-
anybody's
is
driving
what
in
you-
this parking area. Was what I'm saying. There's two other lanes here.
Well, sometimes you can in California because if there's no parking between certain times and certain times, a whole...
Oh, this is
there
true. You're right.
Streets. There are streets where you're not allowed to park at all during certain times, and there's free-flowing traffic there.
Actually,
so my
you're
question
right. Yes,
is,
and it was at 7 o'clock.
no parking in that area, as it is on Wilshire, for instance. You're not allowed to park after 4 o'clock on Wilshire in the park lane.
This is correct.
Mr. Frankie, I think that you owe the plaintiff $715, and then she's got the check from your insurance company. Now you're whole. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $715. We're done. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
She makes the final call.
She looked to the evidence and saw the truth in what transpired that day.
I came in here just trusting that justice would prevail, and I kind of trust the final call.
He stated he was fiddling with the GPS.
Accidents happen.
Trying to get the car fixed.
All parties in the matter of Vasugi versus Hill, step to the podium, please.
Hamid and Susan Vasugi are suing William Hill for the cost of a pontoon boat, a boat motor, and registration fees.
Mr. and Mrs. Vasugi, you purchased what you call a party boat.
Yes.
From the defendant, spent a lot of money not only for the boat, but for parts for it, for furniture for it, and now claim that you can't register it because of certain problems with the defendant's registration, and that you ordered a motor for the boat from him, gave him money for the motor for the boat, which he had for $5,000. I have a couple of questions. Do you have a photograph of this boat that you purchased from the defendant?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Are those pontoons on either side?
Yes.
So it's a pontoon boat?
Yes.
And this pontoon boat is 30 years old, according to your complaint?
Yes, it's a 1989.
And how much do you claim that you paid the defendant for it?
$6,500 cash and $547 DMV fees.
You paid him, according to you, $6,500 in cash. Now, my question to you, Ms. Vasugi, before we go any further is, why would you pay him $6,500 in cash if you're a functional illiterate on the Internet, as I am, and you can go on the Internet and you can buy a 1989 pontoon boat for anywhere from $2,500 to $5,500? And I have owned a pontoon boat. So I would like you to tell me what special thing about this pontoon boat motivated you to spend 3 times as much as you could have for cash than you could have any place else where I'm looking on the Internet.
The body of the boat is in good condition, the pontoons and the body.
Yes.
We were going to replace all the fur, but we changed our mind. We thought it was a good value. We
You did?
We have some boating experience.
Just a second. You know, Mrs. Vasugi, I'm not buying that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So far you've spent $16,000 on a boat with no proof that the money went to him when you could have bought a 31-year-old boat for $5,000.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Hamid and Susan Vasugi claim William Hill sold them a pontoon boat with no title or registration.
Okay, now after you paid him allegedly $6,500 for the boat, you invested a whole lot of other money in it. Tell me what other money you invested in the boat, because I need that for my record.
Sure. We bought some furniture for the boat. This is patio furniture.
I have that here. And how much did you pay? Just a second. And how much did you pay for the furniture?
About, it was $3,260.
So far, you're up to almost $10,000.
Yes.
For this 30-year-old boat.
A bimini top.
What kind of work do you and your husband do?
We're retired. We sold a car.
I'd like you to show me.
To for the money to do this.
To whom?
Bill of receipt.
Does it have his name on it and his phone number?
It has his name.
Well, get me his name and his phone number. I'd like to know exactly how much this person paid you for your boat.
For our
It
vehicle.
says
No,
he-
this was
for
for
your
our
car. He
vehicle.
says he paid you. Just a second. It says he paid Mr. Klein, who I could call. I'm sure you have his number because there's an address there.
Yes, we do. We do.
It says he paid $8,000 in May of 2020. Well, the date has changed on that bill of sale to it was something else before somebody tried to write May 18th.
And I have his phone number if you'd like to call him. But we sold him a 2008 Mercedes-Benz E350. He gave us $8,000 in cash, and that's what we used to purchase the boat.
That's not what you say in your complaint, madam.
Well, we
You
considered
said you
selling
decided
our-
to sell. No. In your complaint, you say, we decided to sell our speedboat and buy a patio boat to cruise around. So far, you've spent $10,000
We didn't
on a
sell
boat
the
that you
speedboat.
could buy.
We still have it.
No, so far, just a second. So far, Ms. Vasugi, you've spent $10,000, and that's before the motor that you said you bought from him. You spent $10,000 on new furniture, $6,500 for a boat that you could have bought $1,000, and then you decided to invest in a motor. And how much money did you give him for the motor?
$6,100.
And do you have a check for that cleared?
Yes.
And I'd like to see.
It's not actually a check. We took cash from the bank for $6,000, and then we had $1,000 out of our pocket.
Miss
Or
Miss
100 out of
Vasugi,
our pocket.
Miss Vasugi, so far you've spent $16,000 on a boat with no proof that the money went to him when you could have bought a 31-year-old boat for $5,000.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
All right, so I'm going to tell you this, Miss Vasugi. I may be a skeptic, but I'm dismissing your case without prejudice. You go back to your local small claims court, and if they buy your evidence, good for you. I don't.
I mean,
do you understand?
I don't
Do you
understand because I have proof of everything I spent. He gave me stickers that don't even belong to my boat.
What I'm telling you is neither you nor your husband look like foolish people. I don't believe in your cash over $10,000.
But they do cost that much, Your Honor.
Just a second. They may, and someone may believe you. I don't. You're no worse for your arrival here. You go back to your local small claims court and convince a judge, just like me. So I'm dismissing your case without prejudice because I don't buy it. Got it?
Okay. On behalf of...
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
The boat was worth that much money.
I was happy with the decision.
We never got a title or registration. We were given invalid stickers and an invalid license plate.
I have all the titles.
I guess we'll take it back to court.
I'd like it to be done.
The virus sparked an idea.
When COVID struck, you decided to branch out on your own and have a mobile beauty salon.
Then she got in a tangle
How did she defame you?
with her former salon.
She displayed on Facebook that I owed her $1,200.
You filed the restraining order against her because she threatened to put a gun to your head.
This is Judge Judy. Hairdresser Sean T. Jackson Washington is for defamation of character and loss of business.
Judge, this is case number 52 on the calendar in the matter of Jackson, Washington versus Munns. Parties have been sworn in. Ladies can have a seat.
Thank you. Miss Washington, you're a hairdresser.
Yes.
And so is the defendant, correct?
Yes.
For some time, you rented a chair in the defendant's salon. When did you start renting a chair to do your work in her salon?
It was around 1.5 years ago.
How much did you pay her? Did you pay her per week, per month?
$100 a week.
And Miss Munn, do you own the salon or do you lease it from someone else?
I own the business, but I lease the shopping center where my salon stands.
That's what it's your business. I understand that. But the premises is not a premises that you own. You lease it,
Correct.
How long have you leased the premises and from whom?
For 2 years from Jake's Plaza. The landlord's name is Abraham.
How much do you pay in rent?
$1,200.
And I assume you have a lease.
Yes, I do.
When does that lease expire?
It goes month to month. It started month to month in April.
April of 2020, it started to go month to month. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Prior to the governor of California shutting down because of the pandemic, all beauty salons was on a regular basis.
She sure was.
And the governor closed beauty salons in March.
March 19th, correct? Yes.
Very close to the time when your lease was up in the salon.
Yes.
And you were going month to month.
Correct.
Did you pay rent to Jake's Plaza for the salon in April of 2020?
I paid it in June for April. Yes.
That's not what I asked you. You did not pay it in April.
No, I did not pay it in April.
Did you pay rent to Jake's in May?
No, I did not pay it in May.
Then the governor allowed salons to open.
Correct. For 2 weeks.
Did you pay anything in June?
Yes.
How much?
$3,600.
Did the governor permit salons to remain open?
No. He shut them down 2 weeks later.
And that's after you had paid up your rent?
Correct.
Because you hadn't paid rent in April and May. He or Jake's Plaza was not going to let you back into the building unless you made up the rent.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
Okay. Now we're all set on that. Now, it is your claim that when COVID struck, you decided that it was a perfect opportunity for you to try to branch out on your own and have a mobile beauty salon. It is your claim that the defendant has a couple of items that you left behind in the salon when it was closed.
Not true.
Yes. Some hair extensions.
Yes. No, she didn't leave any extensions.
Yes. Now, did you have an opportunity to go into the salon and take your items? The answer is yes.
Yes.
And I assume that you had a lot of items there because you were working there.
I didn't have a lot of items. Basically, the things that I had was underneath my station.
And where were these extensions?
The extensions were in a bag that was under next to, inside of the salon.
Where?
They were next to a microwave that was in a cabinet underneath.
That's my hair. She's not telling the truth.
Just a second. You should have taken them. Do you have her hair extensions?
No, I do not. I sell hair.
Hair extensions? No. You should have taken them when you left. Okay. The next part of your lawsuit is defamation of character.
Yes.
How did she defame you?
Facebook is where you advertise your business. You have thousands of people who are your friends on Facebook, and whatever.
I don't have 1,000. Just a second. So listen to me. I know what Facebook is.
Okay.
I don't have 1,000 friends. That's why I'm not on Facebook. 1 or 2 people that like me and that I like. So I communicate with them on the phone. So you're lucky if you have thousands of people who watch you on Facebook. My question was a simple one. How did she defame you? What did she say, and in what venue did she say it?
She displayed on Facebook that I owed her $1,200 in booth rent.
Never.
And she had all these stylists and different people commenting. I have...
Just 1 second. May I see what you're complaining about?
Yes.
Because what she says is you owe her $1,200 in booth rent, and I would assume that that's booth rent after the governor had closed the salon and you were not paying rent.
No,
but
still...
after June, when you started to pay rent, and you did make up your rent. So I would, let me see, I have to do a Karnak. Anybody know who Karnak was? What's in this envelope?
No.
I would assume that these Facebook posts were made sometime after June.
Yes, they were actually made on the 13th of September.
Of September?
Yes.
Oh, she must have been very angry. Okay.
Yes.
May I see that you stiffed your landlord? She did the same to you. That's exactly what happened.
Judge Judy,
may I please see what you're complaining about?
Okay. This is her question on Facebook, and...
Okay, just a second. This question is for independent hair salons. Is that what you're complaining about, where she defamed you?
No, I have 18 pages.
Show me where she defamed you on Facebook.
These are all Facebook.
She rented out rooms. Where is your name in there?
She never said my name because she knew proper protocol on Facebook. However, I do have a witness here that read what she put on Facebook. She called me.
May I see your name anywhere?
She knew not to say my name, and she told her witnesses not to say my name.
Okay, that's dismissed. We have nothing. Let's get to your counterclaim. Ms. Munns, this is your counterclaim. You say that she filed a restraining order against you that had no basis.
No basis at all, Your Honor.
Miss Washington, restraining order against her, the answer is yes.
Yes, because I have a Facebook.
Just a second. You say you filed the restraining order against her because she threatened to put a gun to your head.
Yes,
That's what you say?
Yes.
Did she say that to you?
No,
personally?
She said it
or
on
did she
Facebook.
write it somewhere? I'd like to see it.
Okay.
I speak the truth. If anyone thought they could sneak up on my husband, I'm pressing something upside the head. Okay. You felt threatened by that. Is that what you're telling me?
I felt threatened by everything that she said, from calling my husband and fake on Facebook.
Okay.
I have my witness here that read it on Facebook, and she knew, along with the 4 people on my voicemail, that she was talking about me and my husband.
Miss Washington.
Yes.
Pay attention. We're finished with your lawsuit. I've dismissed that lawsuit.
All right.
Now I'm on her counterclaim. Her counterclaim is that you filed a false protective order against her. Your defense is that while she was careful on Facebook, believed she was talking about you when she threatened to put something against somebody's head.
Yes.
That's what you're telling me.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, Ms. Munns, I'm going to deal with the part of your counterclaim that deals with filing a false restraining order. That's dismissed.
Why is that dismissed?
I'm going to explain it to you.
Okay.
Because the plaintiff believed that as a result of your Facebook posts, she believed that you were talking about her. Now, you probably were.
I was absolutely not.
And when there is a hint of a threat, which there was.
Can I please
in
pick
that
this up? Because
Facebook.
that is...
No.
I'm literally
telling you, I
speaking...
read it. She felt threatened, reasonably so, because the other Facebook posts, while they don't mention her by name, I believe she had reason to believe that you were referencing her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You didn't pay your rent when you were supposed to, and the only way you got back into your shop was to pay up the 2 months that you didn't pay. That's when you got angry and said to her, "I stake." You and your mother lived in a place and paid rent, and then you continued to live there and not pay rent. Why would you think you're entitled to the rent back?
Hairdresser Sean T. Jackson Washington says salon owner Lucretia Munns defamed her on Facebook. Lucretia is countersuing for stolen and damaged property, rent, and loss of business.
Now, what property did she take without permission?
A human hair wig that she wore and used.
Okay, just a sec. Hey, tell me the things that she took without your permission. A wig, and what else?
And a blow dryer.
Do you have those things, Miss Washington?
Yes, I have them with me today.
You have the wig and the blow dryer.
Yes.
Give them to her.
We don't want...
Give them to her.
She's been personally wearing them. They're saturated. I can't resell them. That's saturated. That no one is going to repurchase it.
Done. Okay, now the last part of your counterclaim is for rent. For what period of time are you alleging that she owes you rent?
It's also for damages to the floor.
She owes me. For what period of time?
From holding the chair until July.
That case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you very much.
What about the damage to my floor?
Did you pay rent and did you?
Yes, I did. And here's
did
my
you pay
canceled
rent
checks.
No.
Here's all my canceled checks.
Just a second.
I paid them all.
No.
I paid all the rent.
Yeah, Miss Munn, let's understand this. You didn't pay rent in April. You didn't pay rent in May.
It says right here, rent for July, May, and April. So I did pay it.
You're not getting over on me.
I'm not trying to get over on you. I'm trying to explain something to you.
Then you have to.
Can I please explain this to you? When we were shut down, we didn't have money to pay those bills. As soon as we got our pandemic relief to pay our bills, she was still responsible for her portion of the rent. She rents a space to run a business out of, just like at your house and your business. I paid it.
You know, I'm not a moderator. Cut off her mic. You didn't pay your rent when you were supposed to, and the only way you got back into your shop was to pay up the 2 months that you didn't pay, and then the governor shut you down again. That's when you got angry and said to her, I want my rent. Goodbye. We're done. Finito.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
We were all supposed to pay our rent.
Jealous of what I got planned, my mobile hair salon.
I wish her the best in that.
She was paid in dip.
At the end of the day, you have to fulfill your obligations as a salon independent contractor.
The friendship is done forever.
All parties in the matter of Taylor versus Wild, step to the podium, please.
Michael Taylor is suing his former landlord, Lucy Wild, for the return of rent and relocation costs after an illegal lockout.
Let me see if I understand this case. It seems, Mr. Taylor, that you and your mother moved into a premises as tenants in September of 2019, premises that was owned by the defendant. At the time you moved into that place, that area, you had in fact seen it. And it was, in fact, according to you, in a state of disrepair, needed a window. But you moved in anyway. And you lived there in September, and you paid rent.
Yes.
And how much rent did you pay?
It was $1,400 a month.
You paid $1,400 in September, $1,400 in October, $1,400 in November.
Yes.
And I assume that both you and your mother work in order to make this money.
My mother was not working at the time. I was working.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a bartender, sir, mix engineer, which I do freelance.
Okay. Then in December, you and your mother were still living there, but you did not pay rent.
No,
correct?
That's not true. I paid rent.
In December?
In December.
Now, at some point, you called some housing authority to register complaints about the house. When did you do that?
I made my complaint in December.
Okay. As a result of that complaint, the city where you live sent out an inspector.
Yes.
And after the inspection, the premises were found to be premises that should not be rented.
Correct.
Is that correct, Ms. Wild?
Yes, it is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you are renting out an apartment and it's an illegal apartment, a court can't give you rent for that, even though he ate the steak. And you know, I don't approve of eating the steak and then complaining.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michael Taylor says his former landlord, Lucy Wild, owes for the return of rent and relocation costs after an illegal lockout. Lucy is countersuing for unpaid rent.
Okay. Does anybody have a photograph of where you were living?
I do have some pictures, yes.
Could I see it, please? Thought it was nice enough for you and your mother to live there. It looks like it's a sort of an attic-y loft kind of place.
Correct. It was.
Is that correct?
It was a loft.
Does it have a bathroom?
It does.
It does. Okay. Very good. But they said she shouldn't have been renting it because it probably wasn't zoned. I mean, the place looks totally reasonable. Okay. So after that, you knew, Miss Wild, that you shouldn't be renting it, even though he and his mother were perfectly comfortable there, September, October, November, and December, because you stayed January, February, March, April, and May, and didn't pay rent, right?
I paid rent in January, and then I didn't pay rent in February and on, yeah.
Well, okay, so you paid rent in January. Why?
I didn't...
You liked it.
Well,
I mean, $1,400.
I did like it. And I paid rent.
So you liked it? Then why did you stop in February?
Because the city told me that it was an illegal unit and it was illegal for her to collect rent.
Now, you're suing because you want your money back that you paid her.
Yes.
You ate the steak. You know what that means? If you go into a restaurant and you order a steak and the steak comes out and you taste it and you say, gee, this steak is terrible. I can't eat this steak. And you call the wait staff over, you're that business, and you say, I can't chew back. You are perfectly within your rights not to pay for it. Not if you eat the steak and then call over the wait staff and say, you know what, I ate that steak. I really didn't like it, and I'm not going to pay for it. You and your mother lived in a place, and while you were living there, you paid rent. And then you continued to live there and not pay rent. Why would you think you're entitled to the rent back? Had you ever rented that space before, Miss Wild?
Yes, one other time. That was news to me that it was not a registered rental when he...
And when you called the whatever housing authority you called, what was your complaint?
My complaint was that I was still missing the window because she hadn't installed the window. And, well, that was it. Because after months of trying to get them to do the work, I did research on habitability and tenant rights, and having an open window like that could be an issue and be deemed as an illegal unit. So that was the initial complaint.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you understand, Miss Wild, you have a countersuitor and his mother lived there without paying rent. But you do understand, Miss Wild, that if you are renting out an apartment and it's an illegal apartment, for whatever reason, a court can't give you rent for that. You do understand that, right? That would be silly. I mean, if the state says you're not allowed to rent that apartment, and what your countersuit is for the rent that he didn't pay when he was living there, I can't do that, even though he ate the steak. And, you know, I don't approve of eating the steak and then complaining. Do you understand, Mr. Taylor?
I do,
Good.
Coming from the hospitality.
Your claim is dismissed, as is your countersuit. We're done. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy...
Her car was totaled. She ended up in the hospital the day of the accident. Was there insurance on it? If not, I'm going to make you look so ridiculous.
There was no insurance on it.
Judge Judy.
There was a reason why I called Housing Authority. It was because she hadn't done work for months that was making my house uninhabitable.
No, they had a gorgeous place. It was beautiful.
It was like living in a circus.
I think that's what they do.
I was due relocation costs because that's why I didn't move.
They're just squatters.
You ordered it.
A party planner didn't pay her bills.
The work was performed and you accepted the labor.
Now the judge gets a song and dance.
You didn't communicate with her?
Never.
What she was supposed to do?
Never. We never talked about price. I never received a billing.
We're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney.
This is Judge Judy. Renee Roberts is suing event planner Maricela Reyes for the cost of props she created for a fundraiser.
Judge, this is case number 87 on the calendar in the matter of Roberts versus Reyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge.
Ms. Roberts, it is your claim that the defendant owes you for some work that you did for a charitable fundraiser that she was involved with.
Yes.
Tell me what the charity was and when the event was.
It's called the Cops and Robbers Ball, and it was May 4th, 2019, and it raises money. It's put on by the Community Law Enforcement Foundation in our town.
How did you find the defendant, or how did she find you?
Well, we have a mutual friend. It's somebody that I do a lot of business with. We're networking very, and she's also on the committee for this Cops and Robbers Ball. So after one of her committee meetings, she sent me a text and did an introduction between...
You mean Terry did?
Terry did, yes.
Do you have the text?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Miss Reyes?
Yes.
Do you know Terry? Is she on the committee with you?
Yes, she's in the committee.
That's a yes or a no. Is she on the committee with you?
Yes.
Fundraising committee. She was in 2019.
Correct.
And you recall events surrounding planning the Cops and Robbers Ball that night?
Yes.
For whatever night it was going to be, May 4th.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Now I'd like to see the text.
So there's a couple before and after.
Shh. Just a second. Okay. So let us assume for the moment, Ms. Roberts, you had a conversation with Terry via text message. Now, what work were you going to do for the Cops and Robbers Ball?
Well, for the Cops and Robbers Ball, I do their tickets, posters, invitations, stuff like that. And I do a lot of other work with Terry as well in her business and my business. So she was, referring that not just for the Cops and Robbers.
No, just a second.
Okay.
Now, everything that you had to do with Terry.
Okay.
Because now we're on the defendant.
Okay.
You were supposed to do what for this event on May 4th? What do you allege that you have a contract with the defendant to do for the May 4th event?
There were some props that she wanted to be part of the overall design of the
So it was props?
Yes.
Your complaint says cutouts
Yes.
of cops and robbers.
Yeah.
Life-size cutouts.
Yes.
Okay, is that what the props that you're talking about?
Yes.
Now, when for the first time did you speak to the defendant about these props?
I don't know the exact date.
On what date?
It's somewhere.
Well, let's get to the exact.
Well,
unless you have a written contract, I'm going to need a date because what you're talking about is a contract to perform work.
Right. So it looks like it was in early February. We spoke on the phone. We tried to meet up back and forth, like we missed phone calls. We tried to meet up.
Tried, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Not interested in coulda, woulda, shoulda. You think you had a phone call with her in February of 2020?
Yes.
Do you have that on your phone?
I don't have that phone call on my phone.
Well, why not? You have the text message from Terry that preceded that phone call.
Right.
So why wouldn't you have the phone call? Skip over that. Did you have a phone conversation with the plaintiff in February of 2020?
Never.
My question is, did you ever speak to her in February or in any other month after February?
After that, yes. She was going to bring me a sample of it. I don't remember the date.
No, just a second. A sample of what?
Of the cutout that she was doing.
So if she was going to do a cutout as a prop for this event on May 4th,
sample, yes,
there had to be a preceding conversation of someone telling her what the committee wanted. Are you telling me that that wasn't you? You didn't communicate with her what she was supposed to do?
Never.
So the conversation that you had with her, what you're telling me is the only conversation that you had with her up until this point is for her to tell you or you to tell her, bring me a sample of what you're doing.
Correct.
And can you tell me approximately what month that was?
It probably was, and I don't have an exact date. It was like late April.
April. Mm-hmm. And was that the first time you met her?
I've never met her. Most of the communication was with Terry. And
you mean your communication?
Was with Terry, yes.
Well, you said you did have one conversation with her in April.
Because I had called to see if I could get a sample because we weren't even sure if I was going to be able to use the props. So I wanted them to give me one sample.
Okay. How did you get her phone number?
I'm sure probably Terry gave it to me. But when the conversation first took place, the fundraiser, everything that I was doing was running around $13,000, $14,000. And
listen to me.
Okay.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Right now, I'm trying to see if there's a contract here between you.
There isn't.
And the plaintiff.
No.
Well, you say there isn't. That's what I'm trying to establish, whether or not there existed a contract between you and the plaintiff.
Correct.
So that's really a burden that's on the plaintiff to demonstrate to me that there existed between the two of you a contract, which was an offer and acceptance and some consideration. The consideration here, according to you, is $882, and you have to tell me exactly when this contract was made, if it was orally. I assume you do not have a written contract.
Correct. It was an oral contract.
So now you have to tell me when that took place. Exactly. When and where it took place.
It was in early March or the end of February.
Did you call her or did she call you?
I don't remember exactly, but I probably called her. And then she told me.
And that was after. Shh, just a second. Okay. And that was after your text with Terry.
Yes.
So that you should have a log in your phone of that call.
Yeah, I went back to my phone log, and all I could find was the text messages that were after that. So I don't know why the phone log. I probably have in my phone bill, but I didn't bring the copy of the phone call, but just the emails and the texts that we sent back and forth.
Well, you sent Terry a text.
Yes, and there's a reason for that.
And you texted Terry back and forth. So now you're going to tell me what you allege this February phone call was between you and the defendant.
So she was giving me the kind of her concept and idea about these props that she wanted and how she was going to try to hang them from helium balloons and hang them from the ceiling. So we weren't sure exactly what materials and how it was going to look and if it was going to work. She was going to use magnets. So I told her that I would come up with some ideas about how it would work, make a sample for her. We talked about a price range of what usually something about that costs.
Now, it's about a price range. What did you tell her?
I told her the price range of something that was similar that I've done before was between $58 and $102 each, depending on how we ended up doing it and the materials and that kind of thing.
Just a second. So you told her between $58 and $102. So what is half as much as the other?
Yes.
And keep going.
And yeah, she said that would be fine. So I said, let me see what's going to work.
What would be fine? $58 or $102?
To keep it within.
I mean, she's planning a charity event.
Right.
She has a certain budget.
Right.
I assume you had a certain budget. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Is that correct, Ms.
Correct.
Rose? So she's trying to keep it within the budget. You're making a contract with her.
Yes.
You don't make a contract between 58 and 102.
Well,
and she says, okay, then there's no contract.
Well, that was until I can figure out what would be the best way to do it. So once I knew what materials I was going to use and, how I was going to produce it and
when
print
did that
it.
happen?
On March 14th, my husband dropped off the sample to her, and she got
Hold
it.
on. Did her husband drop off a sample to you?
Yes.
March 14th?
I don't remember
at
the
your
date.
house.
I don't no, at the office, at our warehouse. But yes.
Her husband dropped off a sample at your warehouse March 14th.
If that's the day she says, correct, yes.
Right. Sample on that day.
Yes.
Did you communicate with her thereafter?
I must have, yes.
That's either a yes or a no. Did you communicate with her thereafter?
I think I communicated with Terry.
Whether you communicated with Terry or not, did you order 10 or 12 of these cutouts?
I ordered them through Terry.
I don't care if you ordered them through Godzilla. You ordered 10 of them after she sent you a sample.
Yes.
And did you make the 10 cutouts?
I made the 10
That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
After she made the 10 cutouts, did you want 2 more? That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
Did she make 2 more?
Yes.
All right. Now we're at a different place.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What is your business?
Party rental, event design.
Okay. You did this event for this charity for money. Just follow what I'm saying to you. Are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Renee Roberts claims event planner Maricela Reyes never paid for props she created for a police fundraiser.
Now, you have to even show me her phone because the work was performed and you accepted the labor of that work. So your answer when it says, I don't know her anything, I never even met her.
Correct.
Well, I don't care whether you met her or not. If I order something through Amazon and they send me 6 bottles of Listerine and I don't pay for it because I said, I never met the people who make Listerine.
Okay, well...
you ordered it.
Okay.
You commissioned it to be done. So I am presuming, for the purposes of this questioning, that you did have a preliminary discussion with her about what your creative process was with regard to this event and how she could fit in with that process by creating these props.
Correct.
In addition to what else you were doing. So you did have a conversation. Pursuant to that conversation, she did make you a sample. You saw the sample. You ordered 10 of them. You realized you wanted 2 more. You ordered 2 more. So, Miss Reyes, they have to be paid for. Now it's up to you to tell me the price. To whom did you relay what price you ultimately came up with between 58 and 102?
The final price on the final invoice that I sent her a couple days before.
For each cutout.
There's 2 different versions, and so one was $70 each and one was $102 each. And so I did have to modify it when it was 12, and then I discounted it 20% because I knew she was also donating it from her end.
Okay, well, I'm going to make this easy because I think that you have to get paid for what you did.
But what I was trying to explain, when we sat in the meeting with the committee, they sat at my office, they were offering me very little money. The total bill was $12,000, $13,000, and I wanted to get more money. And they said, we cannot get more money. And I said, I still have to buy these props, I still have to buy these gobos, I still got to buy jewelry and all this other stuff. Terry then says, don't worry about the cutouts. I could get the cutouts for you.
You can't tell me what Terry said. Listen to me. You're in business.
Correct.
You're in business. Is
but
that
I
right?
never talked to her.
Just a second.
We never talked about price. I never received a billing from her, an invoice or anything. So I never got the invoice. If she said she had a conversation with me.
You did this event for this charity for money. Just follow what I'm saying to you. Are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Judge Judy continues.
It's reasonable for her to make money and for you to make nothing. So we're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Renee Roberts is accusing event planner Maricela Reyes of failing to pay for props she created for a police fundraiser.
Now, are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Absolutely. I donated out of $13,000, $9,000 of that was donations from me. So my whole objective is, how can I make this event look fabulous without spending as least amount of money? Because I still had labor. I still had to buy other product. I was already communicating.
Ms. Reyes, we're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney. What is your business?
I am an event designer.
What is your business?
Party rental, event design.
Okay. No, just a second. You are an event designer. That is your business. What is the name of your company?
Pro Prep Events.
And when you did this event for
cops and robbers,
law enforcement,
right?
Is this the first year that you're doing it?
Nope, third year.
How many other events does your company?
Probably about three large.
How many? Very easy. You're a company. We can look up your records.
Right.
How many events does your company do for charity each year?
3.
3 large ones. And how many small ones?
High schools, I don't know, maybe about 10.
And what are the 3 large ones?
I do it for another Indian organization for battered Indian women, and then I do the cops and robbers, and then I do one for Morgan Hill for the volunteers, just people that volunteer in our small town.
And you do them for high school?
High school all the time.
Do you ever do events for private people?
Absolutely. That's mostly what I do.
What kind of events do you do for private people?
Weddings, any celebration, any milestone celebration.
So this is your business?
This is my business.
You are an event?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm an event designer.
This is your business. You are an event planner.
Correct.
This is your business.
Correct.
They give you a budget to plan the event.
Absolutely.
That's what happens. They give you a budget and you work within that budget. So what you're telling me is that you were under the impression that these props will go for your telling me.
Just like the gobos were donated, just like everything else was donated to my company.
No, not your time.
It's not my time. It's also other products. So this person, Terry,
Ms.
also
Reyes.
volunteered Gobos. Gobos
I
is
don't care what I don't care what
and I
she
never
did.
got a bill for that either. So I'm assuming that these weren't being billed.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. $696 is 58 times 12. Is that what you delivered to her? 12?
12, but they
12
were
props?
They were more than that,
12.
but yes.
But
well, I don't care.
So I have another thing.
If you have any proof, don't speak. If you have any proof to me of the exact amount, then that is more of a contract than what you can sue on here, which is really work performed, or what they call quantum merit, which means that she took the benefit of what you did. She made a little money. If she pays you, she makes a little less money. Is really what it comes down to. So if she's dealing with a charity, she gets a lot of people are going to donate stuff, and instead of making $3,000 on this, she's going to have to make $2,500 on this one, because you did in fact do work which she used. She approved the initial prop that you sent. She used the 10 that were ordered. She said, I really could use 2 more. And she communicated that to you. You made the 2 more. She used the 2 more. She made money. It is unreasonable for her to make money and for you to make nothing. So I'm not giving you anywhere near the higher figure you're looking for. But you are entitled to something for your effort. And you said the low end was 58, the high was 102. That comes to $696. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're finished.
Case is completed. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
She called the police 7 times on me, terrorizing me. I need therapy after dealing with this female. I didn't do anything wrong.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop.
Judge Judy.
Well, I think it's a good decision. When you do work, you should get paid.
I disagree because I never communicated. She never called me.
And also, her company was listed as one of the largest
price. So she lied in court. She literally went out and lied.
For donating it. So I wasn't listed as a sponsor. She was listed as a sponsor. She donated it. She's got to pay up.
And the extra 2 ones, I didn't order them. They ordered them. Everything was for the committee.
She ordered them, and I thought it was the start of a working together situation. But
so just because Terry goes, we have 2 more tables, I go, that means you need 2 more props. That's what they ordered.
I don't think we'll be working together anymore.
She just stood in court and lied. And that's it.
Pay your bills. You order it up, you got to pay for it.
No, just very disappointed. Very disappointed.
Who signed the contract with her to book the date?
My ex-husband and I both did.
Divorce kills a catered party.
You are not a signatory to the contract.
I did sign that contract.
Now this ex craves a refund.
It was only signed by your husband.
I don't have the complete contract.
Because it wasn't your contract.
There's a little bit of a story here.
I know you want to make it a story. This is a contract.
This is Judge Judy. Toby Petrocelli is suing caterer Nancy Veretti for happened.
Judge's case number 106 on the calendar in the matter of Petrocelli versus Veretti. Both parties have been sworn in.
Thank you, Bird. Ms. Petrocelli, I've read your complaint, and so this is a case involving a written contract.
Correct.
And the contract was for the defendant to cater an event that you were planning. You contacted her, according to your complaint, sometime in July of 2019, and your event was to take place in December.
Correct.
You didn't state what kind of an event this was in your complaint. Is there a reason for that?
It was a celebration for birthdays, retirement, and anniversary. It was a combination of events.
Okay. For the same people?
Correct.
Was it to take place at a hall or at your home?
It was to take place at a hall, at a club.
How were you referred to the defendant?
At the time, my husband had procured her information.
You got the information from your husband?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And who signed the contract with her to book the date?
We both did. My ex-husband
You
and
and
I
your
both
husband.
did, correct.
On what date did you sign the contract?
We signed the contract on July 10th.
And the event was supposed to take place, according to what I've read, on December the 6th.
Correct.
And according to what I've read, you gave her $1,500.
That is correct.
With payments to be made periodically. Just a second, I'll get to you in a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
With payments to be made periodically until December 6th.
Correct.
On what date and in what amount was the next payment due?
So there's a little bit of a story here.
No, there's no story. This is a contract.
So,
I know you want to make it a story. This is a contract.
Okay.
You signed the contract on July 10th.
Correct.
2020. You gave her a $1,500 deposit. Is that not the date the contract was signed?
July 18th.
July 18th.
And it's signed by Mr. Petrocelli.
Put up your copy of the contract. Put up your
Mine?
copy of the contract. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I
yours.
thought you were talking to Nancy. I apologize.
I got hers, and it says that your former husband signed it on July 18th, and I'd like to see the copy that you have.
Okay.
Because you say we both signed it.
I apologize. I think I only have the one that he signed. I don't have the one that has my signature on that. I will look for that.
Well, you have to have that. And it was signed on the 18th.
We made the deposit to her on the 10th.
Listen to me. The date of the contract is the 18th. And it was only signed, nuance this in a second. But my next question would be, if your name was on that contract, on what date was the next payment due? Because that's how these events work. You make an initial deposit and then you make periodic payments in order to secure the date. Now, on what date, pursuant to this contract that only your husband signed, on what date was the next payment due?
The next payment was made on...
No, I didn't ask you. No. Listen to me carefully.
I'm listening.
On what date was the payment due?
The payment?
Just tell me what date, pursuant to the contract, was the payment due?
I don't have the complete contract. Therefore, I do not know that exact date.
Well, then that's part of your problem because it wasn't your contract. On what date was the next payment due, Ms. Faharty?
This is an estimate invoice and supports the contract, and it's something that
No, listen to me.
Right here.
I asked you a very simple question. I said, on what date was the next payment due?
August 6th.
Contractually, on or before August 6th, the person who signed that contract had to give you what amount of money?
$3,500.
And when was the next payment due?
On November 6th.
And in what amount was that payment?
$3,500.
Now we're going to get to your story. So you made a $1,500. Let's say you were the person who did this contract. Then we'll get to the divorce later and whether or not this was the subject of the divorce proceeding. We'll see. I assume you have that information. On August 6th, you were to make a $3,500 additional deposit. Now, you understand that these additional deposits also, in that contract, it says the date that you're allowed to cancel. How many days prior to the event and what were the penalties for cancellation pursuant to the contract, Ms. Faharty?
It states no refunds 90 days before the date of the event, and they canceled December 19th, which is approximately 45 days.
I asked you a simple question. I don't want you to volunteer anything.
Okay.
It was a simple question, and then you'll put it up with a line. On what date did the contract provide they could cancel without forfeiting the money that had been paid so far? On what date? Was it 30 days, 60 days?
Contract.
Let me see.
Okay. So
90 days.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Okay. Contract, no refunds will be given all days prior to event's original date.
Okay. And that's the contract. That's the refund policy.
Mm-hmm.
On what date did you cancel?
I canceled on Friday, October 16th, when we came back from being out of the country.
Okay. Well, that's less than 90 days. However, you made a combined deposit. You sent $8,000, according to you, or your husband sent $8,000.
I did.
Only $3,500 is forfeited because that was paid on August 6th. The other payment wasn't due until November 6th of 2020, Ms. Fajardi. And if she canceled in October, the other payment really wasn't due that she sent you. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, you're reading correctly. However, there was a change in the terms of the contract based on a request for a discount on the event.
No, show me that in writing. Show me that in writing.
Right here.
Show me that in writing.
I say, hi, Toby. Refigure costs. I figured costs to reflect what the savings would be for a pay-in-full discount. I showed the discount above the sales tax line, reducing the sales tax of savings too. No credit card fees for check or cash. Did review foods for discount and amounts. Take a look. I'm available to review by phone or stop by today or tomorrow. On the new estimate, dated 8/5.
Show me where she agreed to those terms.
When she paid the check, because here's the new estimate here. Estimate invoice has to be refigured.
No, I understand. I understand that. Listen to me, Miss Fajardi. Yes. She's not getting anything because she has no standing. She is not a signatory to the contract. She has no standing. Do you understand that, Ms. Petrocelli?
Yes.
You are not a signatory to the contract.
I did sign that contract, so I'm trying. I will locate that for you.
Listen, this is the time that we have all evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And you came to court. You knew you were coming to court. It's been my experience of over 50 years that when there is a contract, and its contract looks like the contract she just showed to me, there are two lines, one for your name and one for your husband's name. Now, did you have an attorney during your divorce proceedings?
Yes, I did.
Did your husband have an attorney as a potential marital asset?
No, it was not.
Well, that's too bad, because if anybody is owed any money, the person who signed the contract may be owed some money. But for two smart people, when you were divorced, you certainly didn't take care of it. You have no claim to this money, Ms. Petrocelli, or any part of it.
The contract is written out in both of our names?
It may be, but you didn't sign it.
Okay.
Maybe, but you didn't sign it. And you had dealings with her. Your husband may have benefited from that, but you can't modify a contract with her that only he signed. And if the two of you at some point agreed to a discounted fee, if you would pay all cash, so it wouldn't go through a credit card because they charge points.
Correct.
And you did, in fact, do that, and you canceled before the 90 days, then you're not entitled to any money. Then your husband wouldn't be entitled to any money. Certainly you're not entitled to it because you're not a signatory to the contract. Anyway, we're done. Thank you very much. Your case is dismissed.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
One would think that as a business owner, she would do the right thing, but it is what it is.
As a small business person, it's been very, very important to stick to our policies and our rules.
When I contacted her initially, she was very upset that we were going to have to cancel.
They're wonderful people. This was a joyous occasion, and we were all just devastated.
Installing. So this is why we ended up here.
Boy, if she wants a party, she's still got one with me.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bennett versus Robinson. Step forward.
Giselle Bennett is suing her neighbor, Shannon Robinson, for crashing his car into a retaining wall on her property.
Miss Bennett, you're sleeping.
Yes.
It's August 18th.
Yes.
2012.
Yes.
And you hear a commotion.
Yes.
Wakes you up.
Yeah.
Turns out this commotion is a result of the defendant's car wrapping itself around your garden and the wall of your garden.
Right.
And you want the defendant to pay for the damage.
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Oh, Mr. Robinson, what am I going to do with you, sir? Let me just refresh your recollection as to what you swore to in your answer.
Giselle Bennett claims her neighbor, Shannon Robinson, crashed his car into a retaining wall on her property. Shannon says he has no idea what happened.
So, what kind of car do we have?
96.
Where were you and where was your car?
Well, from my knowledge, the last time I remember my car being in my driveway, parked on a...
Just a second. The last you remember your car, Mr. Robinson, it was on your driveway.
Yes.
And that was when?
August 18th, 17th, the day prior to the incident.
So I want to understand this. You had parked your car on your driveway the night before this happened, and that's the last you knew of it.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Robinson, what am I going to do with you, sir? Let me just refresh your recollection as to what you swore to in your answer. You said, I did park my car in front of plaintiff's home on the evening of August 18th because I was having people over and wanted my guests to park in my driveway. You remember writing that?
Yes.
Well, that's a little different from what you just told me. See, what you just told me, which I repeated to you twice, was that your car was in your driveway, where you parked it. You're the registered owner of that car, correct?
Yes, I am.
And in what city and state do you reside?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Now, Georgia is one of those states that require cars to have insurance.
Yes.
Not necessarily collision insurance, but it requires you do damage to someone else's property or person.
Yes.
So if your car, I don't care who's driving the car, if your car causes damage to the plaintiff's property, because you don't deny that her property was damaged.
Yes.
You deny you're responsible.
Exactly.
So if your car was insured, the insurance would have paid for the damage to her property.
Yes.
But your car was not
insured.
Insured. Yeah. And according to you, in either version of the story, either the one you told me or the one you swore to in your answer, you drove the car. That's the story you told me before. You drove the car and parked it in your driveway. The story that you wrote to me in the answer was you drove the car and parked it in front of her house because you wanted your guests to be able to park in your driveway. Either way, you drove an uninsured car. Why did you do that?
I mean, Your Honor, I know it's silly and basically against the law, but I just moved it because we're neighbors.
I know your neighbors.
We're neighbors. I moved it a couple of feet.
You turned it on, right? You turned it on.
Yes.
Now I want you to think very carefully. Now that we know that one of these versions maybe is true, was the car parked in front of her house or in your driveway?
In front of her house, so that I have room for my guests to park and be able to get out when they left my house.
When you parked the car in front of her house, did you leave the keys in the car?
No, ma'am.
Now the car ended up not in front of her house.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He knows he has to pay for it. He wouldn't even argue with me that he doesn't have to pay for it. Isn't that right, Mr. Robinson?
I feel like I don't have to pay for it because I...
Oh, you don't want to go there, Mr. Robinson?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Giselle Bennett claims her neighbor, Shannon Robinson, crashed his car into a retaining wall on her property. Shannon says he has no idea what happened.
Now, can I see pictures of where the car ended up? You could see from there, right?
Yes.
Did you see who got out of the car?
No, ma'am.
Well, that's a lot of damage, Mr. Robinson, that would have been taken care of, sir, if you had insurance. Now you're going to answer my question that I asked you a little while ago. Why didn't you have insurance?
I believe my insurance had got canceled 2 days before non-payment.
Well, they don't cancel it without putting you on notice. So they send you a letter. The letter says if you don't pay, you're not going to have insurance.
Yes.
And you just ignore that. Now, do you work, Mr. Robinson?
As of now, I do.
No. Then. On August, listen to me very carefully. August 18th, 2012, were you working?
No, ma'am.
In whose house were you living?
My mother's.
What were you doing in August of 2012?
Looking for work.
You looking for work?
Applying online, going to job career centers, job fairs.
And how would you get there? Got where I'm going?
Yeah.
You have an estimate to fix this damage. I think I've got Mr. Robinson. He's got me. He's not a bad guy. You know, he didn't murder anybody. He had a party. Somebody got loaded and caused damage. He has to pay for it. He knows he has to pay for it. He wouldn't even argue with me that he doesn't have to pay for it. Isn't that right, Mr. Robinson?
I feel like I don't have to pay for it because I
Oh, you don't want to go there, Mr. Robinson?
Because
You don't want to go there, sir? I just explained to you that if you had a car that had insurance, your insurance company would have paid for it because it would have been your risk.
Not having insurance, we're dealing with the car being in her yard.
You think it flew into her yard?
I didn't do it, man.
It flew?
I didn't do it. When I woke up, on my knowledge of...
You don't have to do it. You're responsible for it. It's your car.
So if somebody crashed my car, I'm responsible to pay for that?
Absolutely. That's what you have insurance for.
Yeah, I have a letter from his insurance company that said his policy was canceled on July 22nd.
Well, that's not the day before. That's not a day before. That would be a month before.
I got that letter. I got that letter 2 days before saying that my insurance...
Oh, well, maybe you were too busy to open your mail.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Do you have an estimate or a bill to fix the damage? You did fix it, did you not?
Yes.
Okay.
One of those pictures shows it being fixed. These are the estimates that I got. One was
Well, how much did it cost you to have it fixed?
$350.
That's a bargain. My goodness, Mr. Robinson, you should go over and give her a big hug and a kiss. She got the best possible price for you, $350. Why didn't you give her money for it? You working now?
Yes, I'm working now.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about a civil suit against me until a week ago.
Well, now you know.
They moved out of the neighborhood.
Now you know.
They moved out of the neighborhood. I had no contact with them. I seen the wall was fixed, but I had no contact with them.
We still live in the neighborhood.
But not in the same house?
Yeah, we still live in the
same house.
I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him.
You haven't seen him?
No, ma'am.
Well, you must be busy working.
Yes, ma'am.
$350, judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you, that's all.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy. An old RV needed some TLC.
The body itself has not lasted.
Nobody's body lasts. Not yours, certainly not mine.
Next Judge Judy.
She heard all the evidence and found that he indeed was responsible for fixing my wall.
I offered to repair the wall. I offered to pay.
I'm just thankful nobody was hurt.
I mean, I feel something was unjust about it.
I did not think anything like this could possibly occur.
After a night with the sitter,
the dog ingested something.
A day under the knife.
Your dog had surgery.
He was horrible. In pain, great pain.
And the evidence isn't bouncing her way.
It's a rubber ball, part of a rubber ball.
Have you ever seen that before?
No.
The dog was in your care.
This is Judge Judy. Lori Gladstone and her husband, Fred Silva, are suing dog daycare owner Shannon Bishop for vet bills as the result of Shannon's negligence.
Judge, this is case number 121 on the calendar in the matter of Gladstone Silva versus Bishop. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat, please.
Miss Gladstone, you and your husband have this adorable golden doodle puppy, now probably 10 months old.
Yes.
Last month, you were going away for a couple of days. The defendant has a dog boarding service, and it is your claim that owing to the defendant's negligence, your dog ingested a foreign object while at her facility. Your dog had surgery, was in fact a foreign object that was causing a blockage. Your vet bills were responsible for those. That's what the case is about.
Yes, correct.
The defendant has a counterclaim. The defendant's counterclaim is that you never paid for the boarding services, and in addition to that, that you defamed her on the internet in her business. So, a couple of questions. Have you or have you not used the defendant's services before?
Yes, I have.
For this dog?
Yes.
For any other dog?
No, this is our only dog we ever had.
And you never had a dog before?
No, I never had a dog before.
This dog, according to you, also suffers from an irritable bowel syndrome for which it takes medication.
Yes,
correct. Prior to October, I think it was 23rd, is that it? October 23rd to the 25th?
Yes.
How many times had you boarded your dog, whose name is Bingo, with the defendant?
Twice.
Were those overnight visits?
Yes.
For how many nights?
In June, it was for 5 nights, I believe, and 2 weeks prior to this incident, it was for the exact same time, 2 nights.
And during the period of time in June, there were no incidents. You were perfectly satisfied with her care of your dog?
No, actually, in June, we had traveled out of state. We extended our stay, and our dog has IBS. I mean, food. He was on a specific prescribed diet from the vet. And we decided to extend our stay for a couple of days in Mexico, to which I texted Miss Bishop and told her that we didn't pack enough food, we'd be staying, and this was the exact food we needed for Bingo. And could she please get that? Would that be possible? A few days later, she texted me that he had been projectile vomiting into other dogs' crates. He was very ill and needed to go to the vet, and I was in Mexico. I said, I'm not able to do that. She took the dog to the vet as per our request, and at that point, he had a flare-up of his IBS. We were not sure what the cause was. We came home. He was staying at the vet for 2 more nights. We picked the dog up and had to pick up his belongings when we returned, and realized in the crate of items she gave us back, she had indeed replaced his food with a different type of food. That wasn't his prescribed food, which ultimately caused the flare-up in his IBS. He has a very sensitive puppy stomach and needs to be on a very specialized diet. I didn't
That means he should be with his mother.
Right, I didn't...
That means he should be with his mother. And his mother doesn't pack just
the... It was a COVID situation at the time, so it was...
If you went in June, that was during COVID.
Well, the dog was in her care and was instructed to give medicine. So, I mean, that was... I entrusted her and her pet sitting service to provide the care.
Ms. Gladstone, personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. You've never had a pet before. You have a pet now that has, according to you, an illness in a young dog. Irritable bowel syndrome in a young dog is an unusual illness. I've had dogs all my life, so I know it is an unusual illness for a puppy. So listen to what you just told me. You went to Mexico during COVID. You left your puppy with her in June. In what month did you get the dog?
In April.
So you had the dog for, let's say, 8 weeks. During that 8-week period of time, the dog was diagnosed with, because I assume you didn't buy the dog.
No, we adopted the dog. We adopted the dog, and we were not, it wasn't identified his IBS at that point in time.
Well, he should have been, because if you have a puppy that has a problem immediately, then the first thing you do is take it to a vet within the first week. Within the first 5 days, especially if you adopted the dog. What I'm telling you is this is what you just told me. In Mexico, in June, for 5 days. You weren't supposed to be there for 5 days. You extended your stay, but you only provided the sitter for enough food for 2 days. You extended the stay and then said to her, this is what the dog needs for its stomach. According to you, she didn't get it, which would have said to me as a pet owner, you know what? The dog was sick. When it came back from her, she returned the dog in the crate. She told me that the dog was sick.
No, she didn't.
I'm not leaving
she
my
didn't
dog
take
again
the dog.
with her.
No, she took... Okay.
She told you the dog was sick and projectile vomiting into other dogs' crates, and she took it to a vet. So, according to you, when you got the crate back, you saw that she didn't get the food that you asked her to get for you. So what did you do? You went away again and left your dog again with her.
But there was a period I didn't use her. I didn't use her for a long period of time. Your Honor?
Well, just a second. Did you use anyone else?
Yes, we did. We had my husband's best friend's daughter. Because then it became...
Miss Gladstone, you're not following me. If I leave my child with a babysitter, and I've given specific instructions to the babysitter, and the instructions are not followed, I don't use that babysitter again. because you did leave the dog again with her twice.
Right. I wasn't anything like this could possibly occur. You're absolutely right.
Well,
and since then, I used her for day sitting. I used her for, she does dog walking during the day. A lot of the dogs in the neighborhood go to her for play dates during the day from 10 to 3 or 4. I used her so that the dog could play with his friends and other dogs at her house, and I didn't feel like there would be an issue. So after time,
that's what
we were going.
Miss Gladstone, pay attention. I asked you when you used her before. My question to you was a simple one when you went off. I said, when you used her before, because you said you had, were you satisfied? You said to me, not really. When I left her in June, and you proceeded to tell me the whole story.
Well, I had questions because I had questions in the back of my mind that I couldn't prove. I couldn't prove it.
I said to you, were you satisfied? You said no. And if you weren't satisfied, I wouldn't have left my dog again. Anyway, what your whole lawsuit is about is that you claimed that while the dog was in her care, the third time you left the dog with her on an overnight stay, and in between you would let her walk the dog, day sit the dog, and I assume continue to be satisfied, and other people in your neighborhood do the same thing. You say that the dog required surgery. On what day did the dog require surgery? Was that the day you came home?
The day we chose to bring him to the vet the day after we came home because I have a letter from my vet right here, if you'd like to see.
I don't read letters from a vet.
Okay, well, the vet said that he ingested an object. It's a medical report. No, it's a medical report. This is a page from the medical report.
Just a second. I will absolutely read a medical report, not a letter.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's a page from the...
Not a to whom it may concern letter.
This is a medical report.
Yeah, right. Okay, where did you go on October 23rd
Palm
to 25th?
Springs. We drove to Palm Springs for 2 nights.
Okay, when you came home from Palm Springs, you came home on the 25th. You took the dog.
Shannon texted me Sunday morning.
Don't try to. We're not. You have to understand something, Miss Gladstone. We're not equals here. When I start to talk, you have to stop. I ask questions. I hope that you are taking in what I'm telling you. I'm a dog owner. I'm a dog owner who never lets their dog go someplace else overnight. Just not my thing. The dogs go with me where I go, especially a new puppy with IBS problems. Okay, you came home on the 25th and took the dog to the vet on the 26th. What time did you pick the dog up on the 26th?
Shannon's house. Time? I would say it was about 7 p.m. 7 p.m., Your Honor.
Okay. And what time did you take the dog to the vet on the 26th?
7 a.m.
And when did the dog have surgery?
6 p.m. that evening.
And now I'd like to see the vet report.
That's one piece of it. I have another.
Just a second. Shh. Just a second. Did the doctor give you what they had taken out?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
It's a rubber ball.
Oh, it's part of a rubber ball. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Miss Bishop.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you ever seen that before?
No. This is actually the first time I've gotten to see the evidence.
It's like a sponge ball.
I am so diligent about what toys I buy for the dogs that come to my house. I do not use balls small enough that dogs can tear them apart. I don't use...
No, that looks like a bigger ball.
This is
It looks like a bigger ball, but just a piece of it. Is that what it looks like?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you're not angry with her, why...
Dog and realized he was not well and needed to be treated immediately.
So why didn't you take him immediately?
Lori Gladstone claims her dog swallowed a foreign object while in the care of dog daycare owner Shannon Bishop.
Okay, I gather, Ms. Gladstone, from this report that I just read the following things. Dr. Liz said that discussed that foreign object most likely consumed within 24 hours of onset of clinical signs. Now, you went away on the 23rd. When did you speak to the defendant when she first reported to you that the dog was lethargic?
10:25 on Sunday at 11:40, she texted me that Bingo had thrown up 3 times over the backyard, his breakfast, and asked if he does that often.
That was on Sunday.
At 11:40.
That was the day you were coming home.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that was the first time she had told you.
Yes.
He had
and
no
you would
symptoms.
drop the dog off.
He had no symptoms up until throwing up. He was playing Friday and Saturday like there was not a care in the world.
Right, so the...
Okay. According to this doctor,
correct,
the object was 24 hours of the onset of the problem, which means, Miss Bishop, that the dog was in your care when the dog ingested something. Okay, Miss Gladstone, since October, a month has passed since his surgery. How has he been?
Oh, when he recovered from the surgery, he's fabulous. He's on medication. He's on medication to control all of it.
Miss Gladstone, the defendant, based upon what I'm reading, may or may not be partially responsible, but you seem to think that it was as a result of her negligence.
Right, and I will tell you why.
But this is somebody that not only you and all of your friends used consistently for daycare and for overnight care. So if, when playing with a rubber ball, the dog playfully pulled it apart and ate a piece of that, that was the first time the dog was sick in her care. And according to you, it had been on play dates and daycare without overnights and at least 3 overnight visits, 1 for 5 days. So this isn't somebody who's a negligent person. Otherwise, you would be a stupid person to let your dog go to stay with her again during the day. You seem to be angry with her.
I'm not at all angry.
Well, if you're not angry and if you understand that she runs a business that you were satisfied with for many months and that took the burden off of you when you wanted to go to Mexico and Palm Springs, according to your vet, every other weekend. That's according to your vet, that he's taken care of by various sitters when you're out of town, which is frequently. You use her, and if you're not angry with her, explain the posts that you put up about her. You don't know how long that object had been in your dog. Your vet said probably ingested within 24 hours of the onset of the illness. She advised you at 11:40, not even 48 hours after you left the dog with her, that the dog was vomiting, was lethargic. It's possible that the dog ate something in her house. What I'm asking you is, if you're not angry with her, because you seem so angry with her.
I mean, look, it's an unfortunate situation. I was very happy with Shannon's care. I had suspicions about flare-ups in his IBS.
Okay.
I took the dog and realized he was not well and needed to be taken, treated immediately.
So why didn't you take him immediately?
It was late to figure out what course of action to do because his vet was closed. And we thought, you know what? He's exhausted. He looks like he could sleep. We had spoken to the medical facility, and they said, you most likely can bring him in the morning, let him sleep. So 7 a.m., we brought him to our vet. And she diagnosed him and and said he needed to be transported immediately for trauma.
Just a second. You picked up the dog, and the dog appeared to be sick. You said he wasn't himself. We were very worried. He had been throwing up, and he looked awful. My dog, at 7 o'clock at night, I would have taken him to an emergency vet. That's what I would have done.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
But when you are in a service business and somebody is dissatisfied, they are entitled to communicate with their friends her opinion. That doesn't mean that I, in a legal sense, believe you're responsible for what happened to her dog.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lori Gladstone says dog daycare owner Shannon Bishop owes for vet bills after Lori's dog swallowed a foreign object while in Shannon's care.
Okay. May I see what she wrote about you on the internet?
These were Facebook posts, some of them. I've highlighted some of Make This Okay.
I've never mentioned her name once. Never mentioned her name.
Just a second. I'm just reading it. It was clearly not supervised. Well, that's your opinion. She's allowed to say that. It was clearly not supervised. Keep going. Okay. Ms. Bishop, I'm going to address your counterclaim.
Okay.
I'm dismissing your counterclaim. I'm dismissing your counterclaim because she is clearly someone who was angry and upset. Her dog is sick. She probably almost lost the dog. She's clearly attached to the dog. She's never had an animal before. She leaves the dog with other people when they go away. And the dog is a dog that has its own problems and had its own problems from probably a very young age, who probably this exacerbated ingesting something in whosever care it was who, when he ingested it, probably exacerbated a pre-existing condition.
Certainly.
She was upset.
Certainly.
And she was venting to friends and neighbors. I'm sorry that you had people cancel
The
on you,
problem
but
with that is 90% of my business is referral and word of mouth. I only have my reputation to go on. So when this being thrown through the mud through people who know me and could possibly potential customers, that's a problem for me.
That's always true. But when somebody is dissatisfied, they are entitled to communicate with their friends of her opinion. That doesn't mean that I, in a legal sense, believe you're responsible for what happened to her dog.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. She left her dog with you for 48 hours. Within that period of time, the dog developed symptoms that she said hadn't happened before. Well, she came home, and what she didn't do the night that she came home is she went to sleep, put the dog to sleep until the next morning. And if your dog is that sick, then if you are a dog person, which you're becoming, you take the dog to an emergency facility if you think that it's a life-threatening situation. That's what you do.
I didn't hear it was life-threatening.
I can't. Well, if you didn't think that it was life-threatening, why would you think that she would think it's life-threatening?
Because she's a professional, and I didn't realize he was throwing up all day. I just wanted to know.
I don't understand. I actually don't think you should have an animal. Actually. I think that you have a certain lifestyle, and your lifestyle is inconsistent with caring for an animal that's going to be sick probably and be on medication forever.
Well, that's not what the doctor wrote in her report. The doctor.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, a trucker takes a spin with the company credit card.
The refrigerator trailer ran out of fuel because he was in gambling.
You know that I think that you're a thief.
Judge Judy.
This dog is a part of our life. It's our family.
I was not negligent. I am so careful about how I care for those dogs like they're my own.
You know, we're just happy Bingo's back and healthy, and, you know, we can move on.
He's a super cute dog. He's a handful, but I'm glad he's okay.
It was frightening. It was menacing.
An explosion of anger shakes a neighborhood.
You body Englishing her all the way back onto her property, screaming in her face. That's what I saw.
But you have to spray nobody. Move your car.
If someone is damaging my car, I'm not going to allow it.
Does rage run in their family?
Uncivilized behavior.
This is Judge Judy. LaShawn Oliver is suing her neighbor, Tyler Deku, for an assault during a
The calendar in the matter of Oliver versus Deku. Parties have been sworn in. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Miss Oliver, how long have you been living in your house?
Since 2012.
Who else lives with you?
My son and my daughter, they reside with me.
Do you own your home or do you rent it?
I rent an apartment.
Does the apartment come with a parking space?
Yes, ma'am.
Within the unit?
Within
the complex?
Correct.
This case is about a dispute over parking. You and or your father live across the street from the plaintiff, is that right?
Yes.
Do you live with your father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who else lives with your father?
I have 2 younger brothers and my mother.
And when did you move into your, is it an apartment or a house?
It's a house, but we also rent, and we've only been there for maybe 6 months now.
And your houses are across the street from each other?
Yes.
Your case is about an alleged assault that took place, and you are alleging that the defendant, in a dispute over how you parked your car,
yes, Your Honor,
came to your home and instigated a fight where she assaulted you. And you want to be compensated for that?
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant says she came over merely to have a chat, and it was actually you who threatened her and began what turned into a confrontation, which resulted in the police being called. Just I can look at of how these properties are so that I can see the parking space that we're talking about. Because what I understand, Ms. Deku, from what I understand, the plaintiff parks her car in the street in front of her unit. Your father also parks his car across the street from where he lives.
Yes.
On the same side of the street as where the plaintiff lives.
Yes, he does occasionally.
How occasionally?
Every once in a while. We all have our own vehicles, so we may need to park on the street sometimes, but it's a public street, so, you know, it's right in front of our house or right in front of someone else's home, but it's still on the street. We don't block anything. So.
Got it. So your father was parking across the street on the same side of the street as where plaintiff lives, but plaintiff was also parking her car in that same area, and your problem was with her, as you indicated in your papers, that she was parking too close to your father and therefore making it very difficult to get in and out, and someone,
no, not
according
exactly.
to you, had seen, well, tell me exactly.
Basically, Your Honor, she would park literally her bumper on top of our front bumper. So she's bagging up, and her bumper was literally damaging my father's.
Touching, well, that's what I said. I said you're parking too close to your father's car. Now, that's why I wanted to see a photograph. Was there any reason why someone would have to park that close?
I really don't know. We asked her to move it.
Okay. Do you have photographs or
I do have video.
Diagram for me to look? I'd like to see it.
Okay.
I'd like to see what you're telling me. Do you have a diagram
I
that's
have a
easy
photo
or a photograph for me to see?
I have a still photo, but it's not pretty clear. I wanted to double check if it's clear for you, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have one. Just...
That doesn't help me much. I have to see without people. I just want to see at this point.
The cars are behind the people that are in the photo. So the red vehicle is my vehicle, and the gray vehicle on that side is their vehicle. But the video that I have, it does show the actual space and how everyone was parked at the time of the incident.
I'm going to show it to
you.
you.
I'd like to see that.
Okay.
So stop looking for the photograph right now and watch the video.
Okay.
That's not a threat. So if you watch behind where she's speaking, that's where the vehicles are parked.
Well, so I can't see. So there is a driveway there.
I did, though, so now what? But I did, so now what? And I'll do it tomorrow. And I'll do it the day after that. Just get off our car. If you don't want nobody at your door, stop being a disrespectful, bitter. Anyway, back up. I still keep walking up on y'all. 6 feet distance because I'm a pepper spray you next time. Go get it. Go get it. Yeah. Go get it. But you ain't spray nobody. Move your car. 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 You don't got a mask on either. Yeah, because I came out of exactly, because you're other people's car. Back up. How about you move your car? Move your car and I'll leave you alone.
Okay, I figured that's what it was. Now, the red car belongs to whom?
That's my vehicle, Your Honor.
And the gray car belongs to whom?
That's ours.
Okay, so what I see, Miss Oliver, is that it looks to me as if you are parking in a cutout with ours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, just a second. Miss Deku, I'm not excusing your behavior.
No, I understand because I'm
not excusing your behavior.
Yeah,
I'm going to finish watching the video. I'm not excusing your behavior.
No, I understand. I shouldn't have acted the way I did.
Shouldn't have? You think so? Mm-hmm. Is there any more to the video that you want to show me?
The second video that is shown on there, it shows how the battery, where her mom actually makes the first contact with my daughter.
Is the other woman in the video that I saw before your mother?
Yes.
So you came from across the street to tell her to move her car?
Yes, I went to knock
Now,
on her
can
door.
I see the cars again? Can I see the cars again? Is there a car parked behind your father's car?
A car parked behind
Is there
whose?
a car? Your father's car.
No.
Is there a car parked behind the gray car? So why didn't he just back up?
Because there's someone's house. It's someone's driveway.
But why didn't he just...
He couldn't move.
Oh,
He
so
was in the correct space. She wasn't.
Just a second.
Yeah.
No, I know she wasn't in the correct space, but what I asked you was, what was the reason for the confrontation?
He couldn't
if your
move.
father
If he would have moved
wanted
back
to get
a little
listen,
bit, he would have been in someone else's.
Listen carefully to what I'm saying. Was he leaving?
No.
Was he going out? So all he had to do in order to prevent in the wrong spot, but if he wanted to leave, it wasn't a question that he couldn't leave. He pulls back because there was nobody there because it was a driveway. So it wasn't as if his car was being held captive because she was an inch too close. He could have backed out and easily just left. So what I want
But why
to know...
would he
and she's
leave?
not...
That's what was confusing. We weren't ready to go.
No, he didn't have to leave. No, listen. I'm not saying he had to go. Stop looking quickly. Try to open up your mind. When he had to leave, whenever that was, her car wasn't interfering with him. They could have had her car towed because it was parked in the driveway. But when and if and whenever, on what day, at whatever time your father wanted to leave, all he had to do was pull back into the driveway and pull out. Nobody was blocking him from leaving.
Though, ma'am. Your Honor, that wasn't the issue. The issue was her car
what the
was
issue
putting
is.
Damage on my father's. It wasn't about us leaving.
Show me the damage. Just a second. Show me the damage to your father's car.
No problem.
Show me the damage to your father's car.
No problem. One moment. Let me find the pictures for you.
I see. I don't have a counterclaim. Shh. Just. I'm going to look at the rest of your video in a minute. Nothing is. Yes.
Okay. You can literally see my father's bumper is being pushed down. There's no space in between. The bumper is being cracked. It's being cracked. There's no space in between. This is all damage.
No, I see this. No, I don't see any damage that her car caused to your father's bumper.
The bumper is literally like being pushed down. This is not supposed to have space in between the car and the light. There's not supposed to be space.
What I'm telling you is I don't see that her car did that damage.
Okay.
I don't see that her car did that damage.
If she don't see it, it's fine. Okay.
I mean, I don't see it. I see that there's damage to this gray car, a couple of spots where it's damaged, but I don't see her car at that height doing that damage to the car, unless you have a video that you want to show me.
I do have video. I have more pictures, and I also have a witness here.
Is the witness here on this for this date? And this incident happened on what day?
July 23rd.
Okay. Since July 23rd, has your father filed any claim against the plaintiff for damage to his car?
No, he sold the car.
Just a second. So the answer is your father has not filed a claim against her for damage to his car.
No, because we sold the car.
I don't care whether you sold the car. That's up to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Didn't you ever hear of COVID? Screaming?
Your face, I wouldn't come outside and get near them.
Something wrong with you. What do you do for a living?
I own my own charity.
You own your own charity?
Yes, I do.
This will be a great ad for you.
LaShawn Oliver claims neighbor Tyler Deku assaulted her during an argument over parking.
Okay, now I'm going to see the rest of the video because I have no counterclaim here. I have what looks to me like a very hot situation that was precipitated by the defendant.
Would I be able to present my video?
Absolutely love to see a video after I see hers. Right now I see you and your mother on her side of the property and you body Englishing her all the way back onto her property, screaming in her face. That's what I saw. I didn't see any physical contact yet. I saw a lot of foul-mouthing and menacing kind of behavior by you, not by her. So if you have another video for me to see, I'd be more than happy to see it. In your turn. Go. Let's see. Miss Oliver, let me see the rest of the video.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who is that man?
My father. Him and my mother were trying to stop me.
So your father is going towards her apartment?
No, I was towards her apartment. He was trying.
No, I just asked who the man was. I didn't know who the man was. So,
yes.
It's a threat. That's not a threat. It's assault. Okay. Okay. Did I do it? It don't matter. Did I do it? You're not going to jail. You didn't surrender. You that scared? No. Exactly. Yes, you are. You are. I wouldn't be standing here if I was scared of you. Bitch, you have to bang on your door. What are you talking about?
Don't
we
come to
rolling
my
down.
door.
It
Don't
don't
come
matter.
to
I
my
already
door.
did, so now what?
Don't come to
I
my
did
door
though,
again.
so now
Don't
what?
come to my
But I
door
did,
again.
so now what? And I'll do it tomorrow. And I'll do it the day after that.
Just get off our car.
If you don't want nobody at your door, stop being a disrespectful old.
Anyway, back up.
I still keep walking up on y'all. What you want to
6
do?
feet distance because I'm a pepper spray.
This happened this year?
It happened last
this
year, July 23rd, 2020.
Didn't you ever hear of COVID?
Yeah, she bit me in the middle of the altercation, so...
Didn't you ever hear of COVID screaming in her face? Didn't you
Okay, she
ever
came
hear about
outside.
that when
She
you
had a
talk-
choice to not come outside, ma'am. If you didn't want to catch COVID and you don't want someone yelling in your face, I wouldn't come outside and get near them.
Something wrong with you. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living?
I work for a nonprofit organization, and I do music. I'm an entrepreneur. I own businesses. I own my own charity.
You own your own charity?
Yes, I do.
This will be a great ad for you.
I
That
was
would be a great
angry,
ad
and
for
she
you.
was extremely disrespectful. When it comes to my parents, all of that good stuff goes thrown out of the window. You're right. And
you
her
came to
car
her
was
house.
and her car was on my car. Exactly. That was the reason. I have probable cause for the reason I acted the way that I did. If
Well,
someone's
I'm
car,
telling you.
if someone is
I'm telling you,
damaging my
when
car,
you show me,
if
when
someone
you
is
show
damaging
me,
my car, I'm not going
They're
to
going to cut
allow
off
it.
your mic, not mine.
That's fine.
Do you understand?
I don't
You don't
mind.
talk over me. So if you tell me that you have probable cause, I would love to take a look at your law degree.
You don't have to have
If
a
you're
law degree
telling
to
me you
have
had
a probable
cause to
You
go
just have to
over-
have a law degree to actually.
Well, you have to know what probable cause is. If you
I
think
know what it
that
is,
somebody
and if
touching your father's car...
That's not probable cause.
Why
it's
don't
not
you-
touching it, it's damaging it. If someone comes in your home hitting your door with something, are you going to not try to stop them? Are you going to tell them that's not okay? Are you going to allow it to happen? Exactly.
I want to know what kind of charity you have.
What did she say?
You said you had a charity.
Why does that matter?
I would just like to know. I asked what you did
No,
for
it
a
has
living.
nothing
I
to
would
do
like
with
to
the
know.
case. It has nothing to do with the case.
All right. Do you have a photograph of her touching you or a video of her touching you?
Well, towards the end of it, you see where the mother pushes, and then the actual still shot is where my daughter dropped her phone.
I would like to see it.
See, at this point...
Exactly. And it's on your video.
So if you rewind it...
I would be wary of that charity.
Okay,
They don't know
that
the
part right
charity.
there.
That was why I didn't tell you.
So
continue.
I would like
get smart. Nobody cares.
I would like to see any bills that you have or a doctor's report of the injuries that you sustained.
So I did not go to the hospital, but I did have injuries to my eye from her kicking me.
Okay. Do you have a photograph
Can
of
you
that?
prove that I kicked you in that altercation? Because if you can't, then it probably wasn't because of me.
Bird, put her out.
Ma'am, step out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is there any reason why you didn't park in your garage?
My son and my daughter have their vehicles, and they were...
Oh, well, but then you can't do that. You have to drive a little bit further to find a parking space, Miss Oliver.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. LaShawn Oliver is accusing neighbor Tyler Deku of assaulting her during an argument.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I do have testimony that I requested from the court and the police report also. It's him choking me,
No, just
the
a
father.
Just a second.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just a second. I asked you. Is she talking? Are you talking?
I was.
Out.
Out. Okay. To lie on someone that's not here. My husband's not here. He did not choke her.
Out. It makes my life much simpler. I asked you if you had any medical reports. You said no. You showed me a photograph. Fine. You spoke about other testimony. Was there a criminal proceeding?
No, Your Honor.
In what other court did you have a proceeding?
I requested a protective order.
You had a hearing on a protective order. You filed a protective order against whom?
All three of the defendants, Ms. DeCout, her mother, and her father.
Was it denied?
The mother and father's protective order was denied, but the court left standing the 3-year protective order against Ms. DeCout.
Against this defendant?
Correct.
I can understand that. It's a very, very unfortunate situation, Miss Oliver. And Miss Oliver, you do understand that I don't condone that kind of uncivilized conduct, which it was. Coming over to you screaming is outrageous and can be frightening. You do know it all started because you were parking in the wrong space.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, there would appear to me to be no reason why you would park in the wrong space, not a wrong space, but actually park so that you were inhibiting other people from comfortably getting in and out of their garage spaces. From the video you showed me, you were a full car length into the driveway. Is there any reason why you didn't park in your garage?
My son and my daughter have their vehicles, and they were...
Oh, well, but then you can't do that. You have to drive a little bit further to find a parking space, Miss Oliver.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Well, that's a very, very good idea, because these people and the way they do business are going to damage your car, and you won't know how it happens. At least you won't be able to prove it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I don't believe that you caused any of the alleged damage to his car that she showed me. In any event, they don't have the car anymore. They sold it, and they sold it without bringing me that damage issue was a whole lot of who shot John. They behaved badly, and I'm not sure that the injuries that you were alleged happened to your eye as a result of her kicking you in the eye actually happened that way. I get those red spots in my eye all the time. If it was a result of being kicked, there would be some sort of bruise someplace else. In any event, I don't think that she had the right to come over and confront you. I don't think that that incident is worth whatever you're suing for, which is $4,000. But in order to teach her a lesson, I'm awarding you $500. That will make a statement that you got an order of protection, but her conduct was such that it was frightening and it was menacing, and she's not allowed to do that. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500.
Thank you,
We're
Your
finished.
Honor.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She said the shotgun is with my son who lives in Oklahoma City.
I sold it. I think that you're a fibber.
That would be a fair assessment.
Don't cross your arms. There's only one attitude here.
Next Judge Judy.
Well, I felt it was fair. I just wanted someone to see exactly